Hi everyone, Tony from Act the Movies here, and this is two grown men arguing about Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. Will we be friends at the end of this episode? Well, I hope so, because we gotta go to an event like 2 days after this. Let's find out today on Hack the Movies! Before we get on with the show, I just want to let you all know that on patreon.com/hackthemovies, there is a Friday the 13th commentary track album out right now. That's right, I got together with some of your favorites and I did commentary tracks for all 12 Friday the 13th movies. I did part 1 with Crystal Quinn, part 2 with Frank, part 3 with Tim from Tapes from the Crypt, part 4 with Casey, part 5 with Mint Salad, part 6 with Joe and Sean from Movie Dumpster, part 7 with Official Joey C, part 8 with Captain Boomies, Jason Goes to Hell with Monica, Jason X with Cecil from The Horror Show, Freddy vs. Jason with Kaylee from Once Over with Kaylee, and the Friday the 13th remake with Johanna. That is available now at the $5 and $10 tiers on Patreon. If you don't want to pledge, but you still want to listen to these tracks, you could purchase the album without having to pledge. Oh, I threw in 2 bonus tracks that were Camp Slasher themed. There's The Burning that I did with Sarah, and Sleepaway Camp that I did with Lauren. So pledge today or just purchase the album at patreon.com/hackthemovies and have a happy Friday the 20th. We're finally here, Frank.
We're doing it.
We're finally here.
Are we sure that we want to do this?
We have to. Look, we did every solo Superman movie except for the black and white ones. I was supposed to do a live episode with someone else, but my schedule got messed up, and
It's fine.
I don't think anyone would watch black and white Superman reviews anyway. I'll get to them eventually.
Could be
but
your
we
most
did
watched.
every mainstream theatrical Superman film. I even did Steel with Manny Muskins. We did Shaquille O'Neal's Steel,
awesome.
which honestly shouldn't count, but we did it. We did it. And we finally arrived to Man of Steel.
All of our reviews have brought us back to Man of Steel.
Yes, the movie that divided and ruined the Superman
Conquered.
fandom forever, because now everyone has to fight until the end of fucking time.
I mean, they don't have to fight. I mean, if one side just submits and understands that, how great of a movie this is, I think that everything will be fine.
So we're gonna be fighting till the end of time. Got it. Now,
Friendships have ended over less. Okay, so
I think I've ended friendships over. I ended my friendship with Vito because he sent me 20 texts yelling at me and threatened to leak something I sent him, and he said he would tell people how to break into my house.
No.
Anyway,
Shit. If you want to know how, though,
Frank,
$100, send it my way. I got
Frank, we found out he's on meth. Yeah. Anyway,
that's the bad drug.
yeah. Anyway, so before we get
All
into
drugs
this,
are bad, kids.
yes, before we get into this, one thing I like about you and Man of Steel, you actually like the movie.
Yes.
You're not just pretend. Well, a lot of what
No.
you see on Twitter is, I think they're mostly bots at this point, but it is people that it's people that know that if they defend the movie, they'll get attention. People know that this movie will give them negative attention and they like it. So there's a lot of people I think pretend to like this movie. And actually just watching it, seeing all these Snyder fans picking apart everything in James Gunn's trailer. After I watch this movie, I'm like, half the stuff they're complaining about is in this movie. I'm like, I don't think they've watched the movie in a while.
It's the stuff that you get in superhero films.
So you actually like the movie. Why? I don't know. But you actually like the movie. You're not just doing it to troll and get attention.
I thoroughly enjoy this film. I'm not a
Yes.
troll on Twitter, and I'm hardly on Twitter, but
Yes.
I'm not a troll in my daily life when
And,
I tell all these people about Man of Steel and how much I love it.
And you are excited for the new one. It's not like
yeah.
you're so slavishly devoted that you're gonna attack the new one.
I'm-
I get it.
I'm huge on any DC content. If they want to continue to keep making things and stuff like that, then hell yeah, I'm on board
Yeah.
for anything. I mean, I'm very upset that Snyder couldn't at least finish his vision. I would have liked to see an ending to his Justice League films.
He had a chance, and then he decided to put a cliffhanger for no reason.
What? There was
They
two-
gave him money to shoot extra scenes. He could have wrapped it up in a nice bow, and he did a cliffhanger instead.
There's no way you're wrapping that movie up in a nice bow. He was scheduled to shoot 2 more Justice League films, and everything went to shit
Yeah.
during filming.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
then
he had
they
a-
gave
he had
him
a
an
rough time.
opportunity. he could have just tied a nice bow and he could have rewritten it, and he did a cliffhanger instead. Now look.
He said, "Fuck it, let me shoot some more
Now,
Martian
look,
Manhunter
look.
stuff."
I'm a fan of the late David Lynch, and he ended Twin Peaks season 3 on a cliffhanger after 25 years of ending the previous version on a cliffhanger.
He did that
and now he's dead, and half the cast is dead, and they'll never be able to finish it. So I don't mind cliffhangers that will never be paid off.
Yeah. I mean, it hurts. It hurts my soul when it happens to DC. It recently happened to Young Justice as well.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of upset about that. But
again, it happened again to Young Justice.
Yeah, it happened again to Young Justice.
Frank, I'm a fan of Carl Urban's Dread. Don't trust me. I know about things that we wanted to see continue, and then I'll just never continue.
Dude, I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't keep making those movies.
Yeah, they did. It bombed at the box office.
Did it really bomb?
Horribly, yeah.
Dude, that movie is gold. It's a classic.
Yeah,
wow.
a lot of good
That's
movies
incredible.
bomb at the box office, man.
Yeah,
it happens a lot.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into marketing. You know, they say it was a $200 million budget. Really, it was a $350 million budget.
Yeah.
It's what they're saying with Gunn's new Superman, that it's gotta break like $700 million. For
The
it to
new
be a
Mission
success.
Impossible made a ton of money, but it's probably not enough.
Yeah.
It's probably not enough
crazy.
to make its
crazy.
budget back.
I mean, maybe cut back on the marketing or something with it. Like,
just make cheaper movies.
Make cheaper movies.
But anyway.
yeah, I have ideas. You know, shit, let's do it.
Anyway,
but yes, I've loved this movie since the day it came out, and
Let me tell you about
Snyder shill.
Let me tell you about me, because people think, Tony, you hate Zack Snyder, you hate him. Like, no, I don't actually. I loved Dawn of the Dead, written by James Gunn. Zack Snyder's best movie had James Gunn's involvement. That's what cracks me up the most about the Snyder bots. It's like, yeah, but he only has one good movie, and it was one great movie, Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. I like 300.
Yeah.
I enjoy 300. I was real into 300 when it came out. It's stupid as hell, but I love it.
It's a good watch.
I love it.
Popcorn film. Yeah.
I had an Iranian girlfriend for a bit. She wasn't thrilled that I liked the movie so much.
She didn't like it with all the
no,
men
she actually didn't like it.
Up on each
I kept
other.
asking, does she know any people with goat heads? Apparently, the movie lied about that, Frank. So yeah, you know, Zack Snyder doing zombie stuff and like racist movies, hilarious, love it. And then he did Watchmen. And that's where the problem started. And like, I like the Watchmen graphic novel, but like, where do you land on the Watchmen movie?
That's where the issues begin.
Where do you land on the Watchmen movie?
So I mean I enjoy it. I know that, you know, he took some stuff out of it. He
not enough. Okay,
changed the ending, and you know, there's no more squids and all that. I mean, I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the comedian.
Yeah, he was good. The problem I had with it is like, that movie is so slavishly devoted to the source material. It's doing everything, and then the last 30 minutes they make changes. Like, could you have made more changes and sped this piece of shit up? Like, what the fuck? I'm just like, if you were gonna change the ending, which ruins the movie, by the way, and like ruins the whole point of the book, I'm like, could you at least made other changes? Like, why did I watch you adapt every single page just to be like, we're not gonna do that last part? It's like, what the fuck?
Let me pull the rug out from under you.
And I'm like, well, now the giant cat makes no sense in this version of the movie, so we could have just cut the cat. Anyway, we'll do Watchmen another day.
But he does things like that. So he was on, I think I brought it up on this show before. Snyder was on another podcast being interviewed about this whole universe.
Yeah.
And he brought up the fact that, because they asked him why he had Batman killing in BVS.
Yeah.
And his answer was just because he could. Like I forget exactly word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, I just wanted to, you know, have Batman kill in this universe and didn't think it was a big deal. And people, or the studio told him that, you know, hey, Batman doesn't kill. And he pretty much just said, oh, watch this.
Yeah.
So it's like, to come out years later and say something like that, and maybe he didn't say it that harsh, but it's still like, what are we doing here, man?
I know.
Come on.
And like, so yeah, Watchmen is where the problem started. The movie's mostly okay.
Yeah.
Until the ending, where it's just like, well,
I love it. I think it's a great rewatch.
And then I didn't see the stupid Owl movie. And then
the animated one,
Gahul,
because they just came out with the animated Watchmen films, two of them on.
Yeah, but those are
HBO
just
Max.
remakes of the book.
Well, yes,
but they're not like connected.
But they're exactly.
Yeah.
Like what the comic was, and it was.
I should probably watch those.
It's great. Yeah,
and then he did Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch. Yep.
Fucking sucked. I haven't seen that shit since like on Netflix DVD. So I was getting kind of annoyed with Snyder because I really liked his early stuff, and it's like, oh wow, you're doing a long slow motion scene again. Okay, cool.
I mean, directors have their shtick.
I get it. I get it. But at some point, it's like, hey, this movie's running a little long. Maybe we don't need so many slow motion scenes.
I mean, it's kind of cool in BVS. I do kind of like the,
what's
the way
really
he
funny?
shoots this one.
If you put the Dawn of the Dead unrated DVD in, he has a little intro where I think he like makes a joke or apologizes that the movie is a little longer. I'm like, oh, buddy. I'm going to need to insert this apology in several of your other films.
In all of your films.
So I was like, all right, whatever. Zack Snyder, not the biggest fan. I like his early stuff. So then, the Batman movies were doing really well.
Yes.
They were getting ready to do more superhero films. And Frank, this is a movie that I think Warner Brothers needed to make. Or else the estate that created Superman, the family, could sue them if they didn't put a movie into production. So this movie only exists to avoid a lawsuit from the family that owns Superman.
But also what Marvel was doing on their side of things.
And they wanted to catch up with Marvel. That's it.
To,
but really, if they didn't go into production based on like the new deal, they realized they worked it out where they weren't owed any revenue from previous films. But they're like, you have to go into a new production or we'll sue you for losses or whatever.
Really?
So apparently Warner Brothers had to make this movie.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing. I was actually on board for this movie. The pieces were there, Frank.
Yeah.
David Goyer is writing again, although I think David Goyer is better when he writes with someone else, but David Goyer is writing again, develops the story of Christopher Nolan. I'm like, oh, okay. Same Nolan's people are producing. Like, oh, okay.
They were hyped about the Dark Knight series.
Yeah, they just knocked it out of the park with the Batman movies.
Like, they wanted another Batman film, right? Weren't they asking?
They really wanted to do it, and they were debating putting this in his Batman universe.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But then he decided to keep it separate. Yeah,
because you can't. He's not
so
that type of
then,
Batman.
Yeah, you get Hans Zimmer doing the music for it. I'm like, all right. I'm like the pieces are there, but this is one of those cases where like they try to recapture the magic, and
do they not?
For me, it doesn't work. This is like one of my favorite two movies to talk about on this show is the '90s Bram Stoker's Dracula, right?
Yes.
With Gary Oldman.
Yes.
And then the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, starring Robert De Niro, where they tried to recapture that magic, but they got the wrong guy to direct it, and they couldn't quite capture the magic.
See, I think it's there. I think the magic is there. Like the first hour of this film is
Batman Begins. It should have been called Superman Starts,
but it really. I like that one.
You know what? I don't know.
Alliteration there.
If someone made up that joke, it was like 15 years ago. So fuck you. That joke's new to me. I thought about that joke today, and I realized someone probably made a joke when it came out
years ago. Yeah.
But I'm saying it now, right? It should have been called Superman Starts.
I mean, you get that same feeling as Batman Begins. I mean, like same kind of tone. If not more, like it's more hopeful.
Yeah, it really is trying to be like that. That's the other thing. Like, it's not really Snyder being Snyder. It's him trying to imitate Nolan.
I mean, maybe a little bit with the darker tone.
Which I get why, because those movies did so well. Yeah. I get it.
And it is a grounded type, a grounded Superman type of feel that you're going to get in this universe. Like,
I think they maybe made it a little overly serious because of Green Lantern flopping the year before. Well, that came out. Green Lantern flopped while they were in production, so they were probably like, "We have to make some changes to this film."
Yeah, 2011. That's right.
It was they started in 2011. Didn't come out till 2013. It took a while for this to come out.
A year before the Avengers came out, they started with Green Lantern because they originally wanted to start with Green Lantern and start a universe off of it, right? Then Green Lantern flopped.
They were smart. That's the thing with James Gunn. I'm like, wow, you're setting up a lot of stuff. You better be confident,
dude. It's got to be good.
Like Iron Man, sprinkled in stuff about the MCU. Yeah. It didn't really draw too much attention.
If it took off, it was able to take off. Then they came out with the second one.
Green Lantern, I guess, was smart. It didn't set up 15 other movies.
Yeah. You can watch it as one single movie.
This one was dropping references left and right. This one didn't do super well though. Yeah. It did just mediocre. It didn't make that much more money than Returns, I think.
What did it make in the films?
I forget.
What was that? I got it right.
But I remember it wasn't like a smash hit.
Budget $225 million. Gross worldwide 670 million. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't really.
Yeah, but like when the previous two Batmans like cracked $1 billion, and this
Yeah.
is your spiritual successor.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. I mean, Batman will always be their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like, you put out a Batman film, and
Yeah.
it's gonna get close to $1
I
billion.
think only Batman v Superman underperformed Justice. If you're talking about just solo Batman movies, I think only Batman and Robin probably made its budget back, but was not a big hit like the other ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was on board for everything, and I was like, all right, I'll give Snyder a chance. And then the trailer came out, the teaser came out where it uses the music when Gandalf died. In Lord of the Rings. Yeah, the first teaser.
Is that what was in it?
It's after
Are
the
you
Balrog.
sure?
Yeah. The very first teaser, not like the trailer. The trailer uses the score from the actual movie. But the very first teaser uses the music from when after Gandalf dies and they're all crying outside.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I was like, okay, I'm getting the style. It looks a little too serious for me, but I'll wait to see the rest of the movie. And by the way, I'm fine with like a serious, dramatic Superman. Like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Done right. I'm
Sure.
fine with it. I'm fine with
You
it.
don't
It
seem
can't,
fine.
it can't be overly serious because at some point you're like, well, he's Superman.
I
Fucking
mean,
relax.
there's some jokes sprinkled in there,
Sprinkled is the
dude.
choice word there. They are, and when they come, they're very jarring and uncomfortable. You're like, wait,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Like that was a weird time to make a joke
What
there.
are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm just like, I wouldn't wisecrack and make out on top of Ground Zero. That seems really inappropriate.
He
but-
just went through some traumatic shit, dude. Come on.
Anyway, so I went to see this movie with my old roommate. And I remember at the time, he hated it. I was very underwhelmed. I was like, oh. I'm like, oh, I thought that would be better. But I didn't like hate it right away. I think we reviewed it when it came out. And I might have been somewhat positive. But it's one of those like, you know how you ever have, this happens sometimes, where you see a movie and you either think about it more and you end up liking or hating it more. Does that ever happen to you?
Yep. But you got to let it. I mean, most movies I have to let simmer.
Yeah.
I can't. Because going to movies with friends, and then the second you get out, and then everybody wants to say what they like.
I mean, a movie I've talked about on the show.
I gotta let it simmer.
Go
for
back
like a
and
little bit.
watch my Deadpool episode because I told the story about how like my theater experience made me hate that movie,
Really?
and then I had to watch it by myself like way later, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh wait, this is actually good. I just had a
enjoy
bad theater experience.
Huh.
But sometimes I don't know. This one like was really sticking with me, and I'm like, wait, I didn't like that. I'm like, wait, that was also stupid. And then like 2 months later, I'm like, that was the worst piece of shit Superman I've ever seen. And I'm like, I'm really mad thinking about it now.
Did I see a Superman movie lately?
So yeah, I didn't like go in with like hate in my heart.
Yeah, I mean, I was very hopeful when this was. I think I went opening night. We got tickets that night and went. I was super excited because it was coming off of the high of the Dark Knight films. Rises just ended the year before.
Obviously, the best one. Everyone loves it. It's the best one.
Well, best characters. I wouldn't say best.
No, it's the best movie.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
So
yes.
then we went out to the. I was really excited. I was watching the trailer a lot. I kept seeing it on TV, so we went out.
Yeah.
We saw it. And I absolutely loved it at the time. It wasn't until
What? No.
Are you side eyeing me?
What? No. Nothing. Nothing.
Looking at over there,
Nothing.
So I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't until later on when you, like I said, you kind of let it sit and you start to think about it, and it's like, okay, this was dumb, or this doesn't really make sense, or even if you try to justify it, it's like, okay, like what are we really doing here? But the story as a whole, and I mean, dude, that first hour is just like I love that.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But like I will say, like afterwards, I like was all out after this.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck this. I don't care about this universe. Fuck this Superman. Which sucks because Henry Cavill was like, that's who I would pick to play Superman. And I know the man can act.
Yeah.
Not in these fucking movies. They give him nothing in these. They barely let him talk in any of these movies. I'm like, but he's so charismatic and charming. Why are you? Half these movies, he just does this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's always making this face.
Yep. He nods a couple times. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, fuck off. Like, we just covered like Mission Impossible Fallout. I'm like, I forgot how awesome he is.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I saw him in like a Woody Allen movie before this came out. What starred Larry David. And I remember like, that guy's really charming. And when I heard he was Superman, I'm like, oh, I like that guy in the movie. He'll be good.
Yeah.
And then I saw the movie and I went, oh, he looks okay. He looks so good.
I mean, if like you said, it needed some better writing and and to brighten him up a little bit.
But
I think he has the most. He said in this one. I mean, he's obviously the next. I mean, he's dead in one of them. So yeah,
and they cut out a lot of his scenes in the next one. But yeah, let's get into this wonderful film, Frank.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Do you want to wear the Man of Steel 3D glasses?
Are these the glasses?
The real D 3D glasses.
Why aren't they made of steel?
They are. Oh, I thought you said, why aren't they Man of Steel?
No, made of steel.
They're not making real D.
They should have made them of Krypton steel, dude. Did you see that steel through the whole film?
Oh, God.
Shit, dude. You know why it's called Man of Steel, right?
Yeah,
because
those might hurt your
on
eyes.
Krypton they make steel. That's what they were mining. So he came from steel.
Okay.
First fun fact
Speaking
of the
of
day,
steel, we get
because it gets so deep. It's such a deep meaning of a film.
We get CGI steel logos. Then we get an out of focus shot. Get ready for a lot of deep focus, blurry, out of focus shot. It feels like when I'm in college and you're like testing out lenses for the first time.
It's a choice.
It's fine once in a while. Like the whole fucking movie, I'm like, oh my God. The whole movie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And
whatever.
what's her face? Laura is played by Vanessa from Daredevil.
It is Vanessa. I was wondering where I knew her from.
And she's giving birth to Kal-El while Jor-El was watching, played by Russell Crowe.
Yes, the man himself.
And I feel like this performance of being a father of a living god really prepared him to play Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
That was...
This
we're gonna
really
bring
helped
that
him.
one up.
And then Thor: Love and Thunder, him playing a father of a god, really helped him for his performance as whatever his name was in Kraven the Hunter.
Didn't watch that one. I got a guy that I work with that swears it's a great film. I can't. Yeah. Do you want to talk to him? Because I can't.
No, you can just send him my video.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk to him, to be honest.
The first thing that we see is Superman's heartbeat.
Yes.
You know why?
Why?
Because Superman's the heart of the DCEU.
Really? It's not Ambush Bug? Who? Remember
I thought it was Black Adam, honestly.
No, Black Adam is he's the head of the hierarchy of the DCU chain.
Oh boy, did he fuck
Should I bring up the Black Adam statue?
God. Talk about things DC should have never done.
So anyway, we have our moment
Lord.
of the birth of Superman, and we cut to a cow. Cut to a space cow.
Well, yeah, to drive home the point of like we're on Krypton.
Yes,
we're not in Kansas anymore.
Here's the thing. Look, as we all know, I love the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Yeah. But I'm fine that this movie had its own visual look. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's the thing. I'm like, I love those movies. Like, oh, do you want it to look like this? And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm actually fine. It had its own look. It's fine. I'm not thrilled with the look, but I'm fine that they did their own thing. Yeah. A lot of this, I think, pulls from that 80s revival of Superman after they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah. What was that? I think it was called Man of Steel, I think. But it was like they did like his whole origin again. That comic is the one that introduced the whole like genetic engineering, birth and whatnot. Yep. So they're pulling from that. Kal-El warns the council that mining the core of the planet was a bad idea.
Well, it wasn't the best idea. In the birth shot as well, it's with the cinematography, it mimics his death shot as well. There's a shot from his death and of his birth, and they look identical. And
I was distracted by the stupid pin art effect.
Instead of Wonder Woman and Batman, there it's like
they go all into the pin art.
It looks real nice.
I have one of those upstairs, the old Spencer's Gifts pin art.
Really?
Yeah, remember you put your hand in it, you can make designs.
Oh, yeah.
All the technology in Krypton is the fucking Spencer's Gifts
put
pin
your face
art.
in it, or like you would do the middle finger and like think it was funny.
They went all in on that, and it looks like shit. The whole movie, it looks like shit. And then the Power Rangers movie ripped it off, and I'm like, why are you ripping this off?
They did rip it off.
What the fuck?
Is that the same makers? Maybe they were like, all right, listen, we already have this kind of
It didn't work in Man of Steel, but I think it'll work in Power Rangers.
We'll just take the same program, put it on.
Yeah, Power Rangers is very colorful. What do you want the base to look like? Gray. What? Yeah, make it look gray. Okay, anyway.
Sure.
Power Rangers 2017 commentary track on Patreon. Check it out. Anyway,
Yes.
He's warning them that drilling for minerals in the core was a bad idea.
I think part of it's like
Yeah.
minerals and
Yeah,
what they use
and then
on
one of the
it,
councilmen is he's in a ton of movies. The guy with the big nose, but famously he's in the first Wrong Turn movie. He's the mutant cannibal Three Finger. So yeah, so in the comics, like Krypton never really traveled. Like they went around the universe, but they didn't stay there. They were all like pretty much on Krypton. I think. I mean, there are comics where you find like one or two of them out there.
They weren't sending scout ships out to. All
Yeah,
these
or if they
different
did, they
planets.
stopped. It's never really explained in the comics because it's supposed to he's supposed to be the last son of Krypton.
Yeah, it's
And also when the comics were written, they weren't thinking about them terraforming, so now every comic has to adhere to that.
well, yeah. I
But
mean, they're also supposed to be stuck on this planet, like not being able to get off.
But we
now
know
you're
that these
telling
guys
us-
aren't. So I need it usually I don't need a reason for why they weren't around the universe. I don't need a reason. But for this one, they make such a big deal. He's like, we should have been traveling. And he's like, we were traveling and we stopped. And the whole time I'm like, well, why did you stop? You keep bringing it up. Can you guys tell us why you stopped?
We should look to the
We
stars.
never learned why they stopped going around the universe and terraforming. And I'm like,
yeah.
why did you guys stop doing
And
that?
also, at one point, we learned that their scout ship went out 18,000 years ago, if I heard that correctly. So, what have you been doing for the past so many
well,
thousands
time
of
with warp
years?
speed, it's probably different times because they're
think so?
traveling through time,
Yeah,
basically.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway,
we'll get there.
it's just weird that they keep bringing it up and then they never give a reason why. It's like they don't even address it. Just, you're all on the planet. Maybe you don't have interstellar travel yet. Like,
Yeah,
maybe
I
it's
mean-
new to you.
Yeah, I mean, with this origin story, you just kind of, gotta suspend belief. Like
They're
you
just
said.
like, we
You
just
gotta-
don't do it. I'm like, well, you could all survive if you did. But yeah, we just don't. Like,
They have many opportunities
Yeah,
to survive in the
a
first
lot.
10 minutes.
oh, what? You have a special dimension you can go to?
Send us to?
We're going to send the criminals there. It's like, well, why don't you guys go in there? Actually, that was one of the, I think the Richard Donner comic I brought up before. Or
Yeah,
Donner.
yeah.
Richard Donner comic.
Well, you always do
I always
that.
do it.
Yeah.
The Donner comic, I think in that version, they say that, like, Jor-El, I think it was that one, was trying to argue with the council that, like, they should all go into the Phantom Zone. They're like, with all our criminals? No!
We're all gonna die.
Those guys hate us!
I'd rather burn to death with lava.
So the meeting is interrupted by Zod.
Yeah.
Right as Jor-El's bringing up the codex and he's about to say something and they don't get to hear it because Zod comes in with his stupid CGI armor and his head looks like a for most of the movie, the CGI armor makes Michael Shannon look like a bobblehead. Like his head just like floating on top of the armor. I'm like, why did they do that?
One of the many things Tony's going to complain about today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because Michael Shannon's a great actor in other things.
Yes. Well, no.
In
I
other
think
things.
he's brilliant in this. Like he really is. He's one of those actors that's formally trained and wonderful. The first time I saw him was Boardwalk Empire, and he's
He's great in like
he
Take Shelter. Is
blew me away.
good. What's that one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet? Not Titanic. The other Revolutionary Road.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
great
yeah,
as
yeah.
that.
Dude, he's a fantastic actor.
He's an amazing
he has
actor.
moments in this, dude, that like that bring me to my knees to kneel before Zod.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. For a movie that's trying to distance itself from Donner, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's so much better." I'm like,
Donner.
I don't know why I keep doing that. You know, it's one of those things where no one corrected me for years. Anyway,
I could not correct you.
they're
You roll it.
just doing the Superman 2 Zod. They're just because that's the popular one. It's like, why, and that's what bothered me. I was like, all right, good. They're not doing Kryptonite and Lex Luthor. Cool. Like, we're doing General Zod. I'm like, okay, well, we're just doing those. Are we just going to keep getting Zod? And, like, Zod is only really good in Superman 2, and then the comics where he's acting like Superman 2. But I wanted something new for a movie. It's like, can we do...
Yeah.
Superman has a lot of villains.
Yes.
Good villains. And they're always afraid to do them on screen.
I mean, for an origin story to start the universe, like I understand why they did Zod. Like Brainiac, I feel like is more of like a bigger big bad that would like overshadow like the whole universe to come into.
Yeah,
the
I can see wanting
Justice
to build
League
up to
kind of-
Brainiac,
kind
yeah.
of feel, you
But
know?
I mean, like Parasite, Metallo, like there's other ones you could do that are fine.
Yeah, I mean, then you start kind of getting into
Livewire's fun. She's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see Livewire, as the main villain in a
Why
Superman
not? She's fun.
film,
She's like
so.
one of the ones that was originated in the cartoon. It's actually good.
Yeah, she was great in the Arrowverse as well.
Yeah, she was fine in that.
Yeah.
Jor-El does not agree with Zod's authoritarian rule.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, but Zod is just like, hey, Jor-El, I'm on your side. I know the planet's going to blow up, so we're going to kill everyone, and we'll just promote loyal bloodline. It's like, what the? He's like, oh, hey, you got me. I'm sorry. I'm glad you want to, stop the situation, but I don't know if eugenics and genocide are the answer.
He comes in and just smokes that woman while she's talking. And I was like, whoa, dude, right off the bat, man.
So yeah, they were going to kill Jor-El. And then Kal-El talks to his dumb pin art robot, which they called Helix, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, which I know that is Superman's robot's name, Helix. I don't know if that is Helix or if they're all called Helix. So yeah, it shoots the guys, and then he flies on one of those stupid pterodactyls from Avatar, because Zack Snyder probably watched Avatar and went, let's get one of those things from Avatar. But we'll give it a lion head instead of a pterodactyl head.
Again, you get this feel that you're on a different planet.
Yeah, I felt that in Avatar, which was also in 3D.
It wasn't an Avatar-like thing.
It was literally the thing from Avatar, just with a different head.
He had a beast, right? So like,
why does he have a beast?
So you're mimicking the feeling of when Superman flies later on in the film, right? So like his dad
Is it? I thought they were trying to mimic the scene from Avatar.
His dad flies as well. You know what I mean? He's like, oh wow, look at this. Look
he is wearing the Superman suit. I will give that thing because it was weird in the Christopher Reeve ones. Where Superman wears the suit, but then when we see Krypton, no one's wearing those suits. It's like, that's a little different. So I like that it's like an undergarment, really.
Yeah.
Which means Superman really is in his underwear for the whole movie because he never puts anything on top
Technically, there's no armor on top of it. I like the look of the suits. I really love the suits. I love the armor. Like I think it looks
so you
awesome.
Like overly designed MCU style suits?
That's not overly designed.
The S has extra bullshit lines in it for no reason, and it's got the brick pattern from Spider-Man and all those movies.
I think that's awesome. I think that looks cool.
If you like overly complicated MCU designs, that's fine. So does Zack Snyder, apparently.
Who said this? Who said that it's overly complicated MCU designs?
Well, it has extra lines for no reason and all these extra little details.
Is that a thing? People don't like the over-complicated...
People really don't like overly designed MCU-style things, and, this is another perpetrator of that. We learned here that Zack Snyder was like, hey, those overly designed MCU clothes, they should also be in a DC movie, and he decided on that.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know why I guess Zack Snyder just really likes the MCU and wanted to imitate their visual style.
Well, they also didn't want to, do... I mean, what do you mean imitate that? They say that this movie is completely different from the MCU. This is too dark.
Well, but then why does it have the overly complicated MCU designs with extra lines and extra details?
Because it looks fantastic. Supposedly, he looked through like 1,000 different designs of the suit to find the one that he liked the most. He was, on underwear, no underwear. He's like, a man doesn't wear underwear on the outside of a suit, which he hates. Like, I don't know. He's always weird with stuff
I hate, if you're going to do the tights, you need the shorts. The tights look weird without shorts. Same with Batman. If you're going to do tights, you got to add the shorts. It doesn't... The belts don't break it up enough for me. It just looks weird.
No, I mean the newer animated movies did it without the shorts, and I really like those as well. Some of the comics do it. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss.
And then here's one of the things I hated in this movie.
Go on. No, just one.
One of the things.
One of the million.
So he doesn't do his slow motion a lot, which is like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank God you overdid it in Watchmen. Thank you for taking a break.
300.
But I guess he saw J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 2009 and really liked those CGI crash zooms.
I like those.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
The whole movie is CGI crash zooms.
He's really fast, so you have to do it often.
Oh my God, you do it
a lot.
If it's not a scene where people are just talking, which for some reason is a handheld shaky cam too, it's just constant CGI crash zooms, and I'm like, it's disorienting. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we just... Okay, not every shot needs this.
I mean,
not every shot needs this.
It's all the action scenes, Like
this really is...
flying scenes.
Everyone knows I have like really bad motion sickness, but movies don't really do it for me.
No.
Movies I'm fine with. This is one of the movies where I'm like, I'm nauseous, man. I'm like, this is too fun. I'm like, can we just lock the camera down for a few scenes before we CGI crash zoom again?
They zoomed in when you lean back.
It looked cool a couple times in Star Trek. Why this one went all in on it?
I mean, it really... I mean, I agree with the overuse a little bit. But those kind of shots like kind of make it feel more like you're there, like you're in
I totally get
the
reason for it, and I understand it. It's just when you do it over and over, it starts to lose its impact. So he goes to the baby chamber that looks like it's ripped out of the Matrix, but underwater, And then he grabs the codex, which I guess is like a Kryptonian like primate, like an ancestor.
Yeah.
Because it's like smaller, it's more ape-like. So I guess that's like a fossil they found. So it's like the earliest DNA, and
they keep it all.
they put like
within-
all the DNA. So some babies are bred for like war, and other for science and whatnot.
Yeah, and Jor-El was going against all
Yeah.
of that, because you could tell that he was also
Yeah.
training in fighting when he was supposed to just be a scientist.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He already.
But then, so he had a natural baby, which is illegal.
Yeah.
But then wants to put the Kryptonian DNA in him.
Well, to send it with him.
I guess so.
To send it with him, so it's not like a thing that like he could lose. Like if he ever loses that skull,
Is it so like
it's a
if
problem.
Superman were to procreate, he would have like all the DNA of Krypton in him? I guess.
Well, I think like the point of it is that eventually he can rebuild a Krypton if he wanted to.
if he
so-
wanted to, yeah.
I think that was like Jor-El's plan, that like
Yeah.
keep our people alive, you succeed, you do well.
Also, I guess he saw
travel
that.
the
He's like, well,
stars.
humans can breed with him, so yeah. Let's make sure all of Krypton's DNA is in there,
Yeah.
because we only gave him 2 scientists' DNA. I think he needs to learn how to punch.
what if what if it was like like his
I think he just wanted like, because they were limited genetically, so they wanted like all of it in him. So anyway, he grabs that. So then a big spaceship comes to stop him, and then he jumps off a building, and then the Avatar dragon grabs him, but so fast that it would kill him if it caught him at that speed.
Well, I mean, maybe he's just really good at
I just think
landing on it
this
like
movie is
that.
just a cartoon for children
Okay.
with
All right.
unrealistic physics like that, Frank. It
Yep.
should have realistic physics.
in
I
the
think.
in the earlier Superman movies, when Superman catches Lois Lane or flies with Lois Lane and they're like kind of following the whole thing, none
Yeah.
of those physics like question your
No, those
thought
are movies for
process on all
kids,
these.
like this one.
Exactly.
He flies all the way home. I think the Avatar dragon dies. I'm not really sure what happened there.
He dies. Yeah. He
Was
gets,
it shot or?
Yeah, he gets. I'm pretty sure he gets shot on the way in, and then he's like,
okay.
"Oh man, my guy." But he's like, "Well, we're all gonna die anyway."
Yeah.
So, this is
So then they get in there and they're like, well, got to send him to Earth. It's the only place we can send him. It's got a yellow sun. It's going to give him a ton of radiation.
Well, yeah. He's like, did you find a planet? And she's like, yes, I did. But it's like, shouldn't they have already found that planet? Like, how long have they?
Well,
been
no, it's
planning
probably
this
in the
for? That,
records,
like,
but
yeah, that they're not just now picking it 2 minutes before liftoff.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
they never travel, so they don't really probably look at it.
I guess
enough.
you're right. Yeah.
Why
I mean-
why didn't he build a bigger ship that could hold all of them? I mean, anyway.
Because they didn't have time or materials. They weren't allowed to mine anymore for more
That's true.
steel
Okay, we got me
because
there, yeah.
the world was ending.
Laura and Jor-El, they put him into the ship, and the Codex hits him with the laser.
Yeah.
And then there's a close-up on the baby's junk, and I guess Snyder's part of Hollywood's Predator Elite. I don't know why he thought it was necessary to show baby's junk. I would have put a blanket over the baby, but I don't know what's in Snyder's head, and I don't want to know, Frank, with that creepiness.
I would call it a medium shot, not a close up. And it was very split second.
Put a blanket over it.
It was very split
Don't wanna
second.
see it.
I didn't even notice that his wiener was out. I had no idea.
It's really in the frame.
Maybe-
I noticed it in the theater, and I went to my roommate. I was like, ah,
God.
why is this such a on the big screen? I'm like, I don't like that.
It's different. It's different if it was Jor-El with his junk out. It's just a baby. Baby junk is okay. But the second that Jor-El,
I don't know if you want to say that on camera. So anyway, Frank's on the list with Zack Snyder.
Oh God. Things you don't
Okay.
say on Hack the Movies.
So
Also, I'm wearing my Hack the Movies shirt today.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to show Tony that, I understand. I get that he hates this movie. And I wanted to let him know that I still like him a little bit. And it's fine.
just a little bit.
He's going to be okay. By the end of this review, he's going to be like, hey, I fucking love this movie.
I'll be like, you know what? You won
I
me
get
over,
it.
Frank.
Yep.
You won me
Yep,
over.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Just teaching lessons. To
Too
people.
bad you're on a list now because of that guy.
I don't
It's
want
your last episode. The feds are coming.
You don't want to be friends with me anymore. Oh, God.
So, because Snyder, I don't know what his deal is. This couldn't just be like a nice, heartbreaking scene of them sending their kid away.
Yeah.
It had to have fighting and stabbing and punching.
Well,
And it's like, oh, we needed a fight scene during the sending the baby away part.
Well,
Like, I don't think we needed that.
Because Zod's pissed. Zod's mad that he's gone behind everyone's back. He stole the Codex. Also, when the way that Jor-El dies here is the same exact way that that Doomsday's Zod kills Superman in BVS with a
big
puncture
with
to
a big
the-
spike.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, same exact way.
God,
And then he
looked like a
gets
cave troll. Anyway,
and then he gets his cut on his face.
yeah, that's
here,
where he got the scar
which
from,
then
like, the
they
gun,
see
yeah.
on Doomsday when he's
And
fighting. Yeah,
and to make this
Cool stuff.
to make this really distracting, they're both wearing CGI armor and their heads look like bobbleheads.
I mean, I kind of like this fight scene though, like the way that they did it. Like it looks like he's really
I
punching
guess
him
so.
hard.
I'm just
It's
like,
cool.
I don't know if
Looks
this
cool.
needed it. Could we move this fight scene earlier when they were at the council?
It's
Why do we have to have the fight scene here?
It's a quick thing, you know. I mean,
I get it. They
over-
want to show like he never took his eyes off his son while he was dying.
Yeah, over his son, like making sure that
Yeah.
he got him out of there and lifted off, and
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
So he dies.
It's a beautiful moment.
What you call it? Zod tries to shoot down the ship, but it disappears, and then Zod gets arrested.
Yeah, take down that ship. Not.
Yeah. They all get arrested, and I said the same thing in the Flash episode. What the fuck is the giant Kryptonian? What is that? Why is there just one big guy?
Okay, so I figured it out.
Okay.
So this, you know, the beast that we see earlier in the film, that's like after,
cow?
yeah, the cow thing.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so this guy like morphed his DNA with one of these things and became like a more jacked. This is what I saw on the internet. This is what the internet gave me.
Wait, what?
I swear to God,
The
Yeah.
internet really said he's part space cow?
So this is like, I think Snyder actually said it in his, because he did a rewatch a couple of years ago before Justice League, before his cut of Justice League
that
came
man
out.
was a space cow?
He did this, so like, maybe not the cow, but one of these animals from Krypton. He did his DNA with and got himself like
I
a Bane,
assume-
like a Bane. You
I
love Bane.
assume
You
it
were
was genetic engineering. It's just weird that it's just one guy, and they always put him in the background. I remember the first time I watched, I was like, "Is that guy like a giant?
he massive?
What is that? Who is that?" And they brought him back in the Flash. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why is he the only really big guy? Why aren't there more of them around there?
I'm shocked.
Why is Zod not a big guy? I feel like he should be the big guy."
Oh God, the Flash. I don't want to talk about it. It's they just ruined. Oh God, what a
You were
waste.
positive at the time.
But
Is that
wasted-
another one you thought about?
Wasted potential. That's what I'm upset about.
Frank.
Wasted.
Zod is gonna find Kal-El, and I know this because he says, "I will find him,
Dude.
I will find him."
Tell me this scene isn't wonderful.
I will find him!
This scene is very powerful until
Giant
he gets
dicks.
into a giant dick. They all get into giant dicks.
They're more like dildos, but
yeah, they're more like dildos. This movie's meant for teenage boys. Why Zack Snyder wants them to see giant dicks, I don't know.
phallics. And
But I remember looking at
vaginas
it
and-
going, wait, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And look, I'm a fan of the Alien movies. I don't mind phallic imagery in a sci-fi thing. It's just it only ever happens here, and there's like one vagina door later, and I'm like, what? I'm like, why did you? This is very odd.
Superman starts. How do you give birth to something new? You need a penis and a vagina.
I get like the vaginal door opening, revealing the Superman thing. That kind of works. Why do the bad guys in dicks going? I don't get that at all. I'm like, I'm not really getting the context.
Maybe he just wanted to say, "Oh, these people are dicks."
Do you think the
so we're
person who
sending them off
designed
planet.
it, like, they were like, oh, it's going to show them from the front. It'll probably look like a sarcophagus. And then digitally they rotate it. And they're like, oh, no, they weren't supposed to show it from that angle. Oh, no. I can see the guy who designed it being like, I didn't think they were going to show that part.
No, it's a dick.
I thought they were going to. Oh, no, I didn't realize from that angle it kind of looks like a dick. Why did they pick this angle?
it happens so quickly that you don't even notice. It's just subliminally in the back.
No,
of your
I know.
head.
No, it doesn't because they take off very slowly. So you sit there, you're like,
know,
those are dicks. What the hell is going on here?
Balls
So they
over
send
the
him
door?
into the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, that's that whole scene of "I will find him." I have to say again, it's just
okay. They used it in the trailer a lot.
really well.
I don't know, but for me,
Shannon killed
for me at this point in the film, I'm like, this is just the Donner Superman, but just they tried to spice it up with action, but it just for me, it just comes off dull. It's like,
Really?
we're doing this again, but we're gonna throw a fight scene here, and I'm like, well, the fight scene feels weird here, and it feels drawn out. Donner Superman was like done in like a few minutes. Like, okay, he's gone now.
Yeah.
That's all we really needed.
I mean, it's world building. It's showing, kind of where Cal came from, and
I guess a
and-
little bit, but for me, it just goes on for too long, and I just don't care about any of the characters.
But it's like
really.
it's what he stands for.
I guess
so now when Zod comes to his planet, like there really is fear, and there is this connection between Zod and Jor-El and you know and Cal trying to be just like his father, and I mean there's all this imagery there that correlates with the rest of the film. You just gotta let it happen.
But for me, I'm just like,
you just gotta let it happen.
For me, I'm just like, okay, cool. So then Krypton dies. Krypton dies.
Boom.
Blows up.
Boom.
Whole thing blows up.
Boom.
The moons around it blow up.
Boom. Also, so there's during that whole fight scene when Jor-El's flying through the sky and stuff, there's a moon way off in the distance that's been blown up.
Yeah.
Snyder on his watch through, he did a live watch through, said that that's one of Darkseid's like planets that he conquered years before, and it's like a little Easter egg. Exactly, it's a blown up moon in the sky.
I feel like he's retroactively adding context.
Hey, by the way, so if you guys love Darkseid, here's more Darkseid. He blew up that moon.
You gotta be careful with that. What you call it? J.K. Rowling used to do that. She would be like, "Yes, that character was gay the whole time." And it's like, really? You didn't mention it in the book. Seems like you just said that because someone asked you about it and you went, I meant for that.
See their wand? It's shaped like a dick. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you know.
But then we flash to the Clark being, Krypton dies, mom dies, she's all sad.
Yeah.
And then Clark just lands on Earth and we cut to him being an adult on a boat. Mm-hmm. This is doing the Batman Begins non-linear first act.
I love it.
Although it took a while. Batman Begins, like, we cut to adult Bruce Wayne real quick. This one, like, we're going to spend a lot of time. Like, now we're going to be non-linear. I'm like, oh, now we are? We should have moved that earlier.
Well, you know, whole history lesson. Let's see what happened. And then now we're going to chop it up a little bit. And he's like, I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat.
So he's on a boat. He's got a big beard. Apparently, he's not the best worker ever. Then he sees an oil platform on fire.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, those guys are already dead. We got to get out of here. And they're like, hey, new guy. New guy? And it leaves. And right away, he's just climbing the wall.
Yeah.
And I remember,
shirt off,
the behind the scenes footage from this. He, like, in between takes, he was doing pull-ups.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that guy's ripped.
He's looking good.
He saves everyone inside. He's all lit on fire.
I love their faces when he opens the door and he's on fire. And they're like, what? And he's
What's
like,
burning on him?
Come on, let's go. I guess his chest there. Or maybe there's oil on him.
Yeah, I didn't see any oil on him.
Maybe he got splashed by
clear.
something. Maybe.
I assume maybe he was splashed by something. Because I'm just sitting there, I'm like, well, he wouldn't be on fire. I think he's
fireproof.
Fire retardant is what it's called. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We go.
Not that other word that you use all the time. I'm like, Frank, stop.
Fireproof.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
Yeah. That's the word.
Good. Don't you dare put words in my mouth. You already just put me on a list, Tony. Don't you fucking dare.
All right, I won't tell everyone about that new Kanye song you've been singing. Let's get back to this.
Dude, it's a catchy jingle. I'm just kidding.
Anyway.
Shit.
He saves everyone. I mean, this is a decent scene of him, like, lifting up the platform so the helicopter can get the guys.
Yeah.
The whole platform collapses after they get away, and he's just laying in the water. Slow motion. He got some slow motion in there.
Kind of cool, you know. He's got the whole Jesus piece look where his arms are out, because you're always gonna get that.
Yeah,
and you get a whale and its baby, which is showing like
that's
the birth
afterwards.
of...
That afterwards. Right now, this is while everything's on fire.
Oh, okay.
I guess he could breathe underwater.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
He falls down the water and then he flashes back to being a kid.
Yeah.
And his senses are like going crazy. He's seeing through things. He's hearing too many things, and he's having like a panic attack.
Scary.
And I have it here. He runs into the closet and cries like a woman. Because I call him Soider Man.
Weren't you ever scared as a kid?
No. No.
I ain't no bitch.
You ain't afraid of nothing.
Yeah,
so like Martha. So we hear this is kind of sad. I really hate the Kents in this. But like they're sitting there like their parents don't even let them play with people. And I'm like, I gotta socialize the kid a little bit.
Yeah, I mean
a little bit.
I mean, it if anything, it hammers home Jonathan Kent being so scared to let him out. So I'm sure that Martha would be like the voice of reason and be like, hey, like you know, we have to allow him to do this or go to school. Maybe Jonathan Kent didn't even want him to go to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was more of like the trying to help him through and get him to do things.
Jonathan's this scared. I would have just shipped the baby out, left it at a firehouse, been like, government's problem now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, again, Martha was probably like, no, like this is a sign.
But we
from-
skipped all of that. So
from
we're
God,
just like,
so-
here's these two assholes. So yeah, Martha comes
Yeah.
in and she gives him like advice. She's like, just focus on my voice. Just listen to my voice. I think it's a good way to show his powers developing.
Yep, and also
See, I don't hate everything in the movie. I don't hate everything. in the movie,
It'd be
Frank.
impossible for you to hate everything. If you
Although
did, we'd never talk
Well,
again.
Frank, I didn't need a million out of focus close-ups on the pencil on the teacher's desk. I didn't need that for the scene. All the little deep focus. I'm like, okay, can we just?
Well, yeah, at least you didn't get a crash cut.
I'm surprised we didn't. No, we actually.
we might have when he saw
gotten
through her.
Yeah. Yeah, you actually might have. We see a little bit of his early heat vision.
But yeah, so you see, like,
I don't know why getting blasted off an oil platform made him go, remember that time that happened to me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
okay.
Because the other one kind of there's
It's like,
reasons why.
I don't know why
he
you're
goes
thinking
back.
about that, but okay.
Huh. I also like it. Like she's like, focus on my voice, and it kind of shows that he always has his ear to like his mom, and then once he meets Lois, he always has an ear to Lois. So like, and either of them are ever in trouble, like they're always in focus for him.
Yeah,
which is
then
what I
he
think.
wakes up and sees the whales.
Yes.
And then he just steals a man's clothes and he never turns himself into the authorities.
I can't believe that he just because it seemed like that guy was going around and helping like people that needed food and clothes and extra stuff. And he stole that from them.
He stole that, and then someone died of
Yeah.
pneumonia because they didn't have a nice jacket.
Well, he also checked the socks first
To
and
make
was
sure
like,
they weren't wet.
These are wet.
Well, Frank,
And,
they
you
can't
know.
be wet. He might get a cold.
He was gonna steal from the homeowner.
Man of stealing
Man of
is what I call it.
stealing. What a thief.
Stealing.
Give him back, Clark. Oh.
So then he sees a bus, and then he gets reminded of that time he was on a bus that magically teleported from a cornfield to a bridge over water. There was a real jarring cut where you see it in the middle of like a really long cornfield, and then the next shot, it's on a bridge. I'm like, that's jarring. Okay.
Well, maybe it's just showing, how far that he had to ride to school every day type of thing. You know what I mean?
So yeah, he's getting bullied by Pete, who we know as his friend if you
Yeah.
read the comics, and
Supposed to be-
Lana's in there. They don't really do anything with those characters. I know Pete comes
yeah.
back
They
later.
don't do anything with a lot of good side characters.
Yeah, they saved Lana for later, maybe.
It's another upsetting thing that I have with this
Yeah.
film. I'm sorry. But
So,
not everything's perfect.
Yeah,
but
so
yeah.
they're bullying him, and then the bridge, the bus falls off the bridge.
Yeah, some asshole cuts him off, and there you
They're
go.
all drowning, and Clark saves all of them. And I have it here. Clark saves a ginger kid. Not my Superman.
No, not big on the gingers.
I don't want to believe a Superman would save a redheaded person.
Huh? Yeah. So you're saying that he would never save, or he would save Crystal, and
He
you'd be
would
upset
save Crystal,
about it.
which is why I would be this
Yeah.
Superman's Lex Luthor. I'd be like, not on my watch.
Can we shave your head?
Well, Lex Luthor is supposed to be a ginger.
Shit!
So I would be his dark side. I would be his dark side. Because I am gray.
Yeah.
So I probably would be more like,
could just
or no,
shave your head.
Doomsday was the one with the gray hair.
We could just shave your head and call it and say that you're a ginger. You just can't see his hair.
So yeah, I was like, saving redheads, I'm out. This movie
Ew.
got worse.
Gross. Oh no. Love this scene.
So then
I think it's great.
So then Lana's mom was like, he's Jesus. And I'm like, okay, well, tone it down, lady.
Yeah. I mean,
but
John-
yeah, look,
No.
I get wanting to keep him a secret. And I get that maybe Jonathan would have these thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, should I have just let them die? Maybe. I'm like, I wouldn't have vocalized those because that's not really.
Yeah.
It's surprising this guy. Thank God he met his real space dad. And he was like, oh,
Yeah.
thank God you're. This actually makes me feel good. That psychopath I grew up with wanted me to kill everyone and hide in a
Well,
closet.
Yeah.
Thank you, space
You're
dad.
saying, you're saying I was sent here to be a hero? Fuck. Jesus Christ, Mr. Kent.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I get it. I mean, the maybe in that moment, like he doesn't mean like yeah, of course you should have like.
And I was
maybe
excited
really
for
should've
Kevin
let him die.
Costner to be Jonathan Kent. And I'm watching this. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, this Jonathan Kent kind of sucks.
I love his monologue in BVS. Is it when he comes back?
Oh
and
God,
on
with the
top of
ghost
mountain?
scene.
I kind of like it. Well, the
And
ghost.
then the writer copy and pasted him and did that same exact scene in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
where
no,
Kylo
shit.
Ren sees his ghost dad. And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah,
what the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah, same
What,
thing.
like he
Yeah.
just literally just did that scene again.
Yeah, I mean, I like this scene because this is where he's like, can't we just pretend, go back to me pretending I'm your son, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, is that right?
I mean,
Is
I like that
part?
part. I just wish it wasn't followed by like, hey, you should have let all those kids drown so no one would find out you're a dirty space alien. It's like,
Yeah.
that's not the best example here.
I mean, again, he's trying to not like scare him, but teach him, like, hey, like this. We don't know how this world's going to react, and and we need you to keep you a good.
So let's not even make any attempt. Don't ever help anyone in need. You're not ready. He doesn't tell him when he could be ready.
Also, where's the bus driver in that scene? Does he open up the door so that the water can come in and he
I think he
flew
saves
out?
the bus. I think everyone gets saved in that.
Is he still in the bus when that comes
No,
up?
he gets out. He gets out.
Are you?
I'm pretty sure he gets out. Frank, stop me if you've heard this one before.
Mm-hmm.
Superman sees the ship that he came in on and a crystal that comes along with it. Have you ever heard this one before? And Frank, if they had made a Man of Steel 4, we would have learned that there was a backup crystal.
That's right.
I was just like, we're doing the crystals again. Okay.
If he ever wants to give up his powers, he can get it back with that.
Yeah. And then if he ever wants to give them up again, he can get them back.
There'll be another one. Yep.
So,
that's funny.
So yeah, oh, but by the way, Jonathan's like, I took the medal to a school and they said that none of the metal was on the periodic table. And I was like, and then did you kill that guy? How did they let you leave with that? I'd be like, I'm sorry, wait, hold on. Can we hold on to this? This is like amazing.
Especially from like a university. Yeah. Like nobody would go to like anyone else or tell any other scientist like, hey, so I found a new, material on the fucking scale.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
I would have been like, periodic table.
Periodic table.
I'd be like, we got to hold on to this, bud, but this is the most amazing find of all time.
Where'd you get this from, dude?
Why is there an S on it? And why is it overly designed like an MCU thing?
Where are you from? Smallville? Oh, the place where all those weird saves are happening in the newspaper that I always read about? Is there any aliens in your town? Huh. That's so weird. Bus full of kids, right? Safe?
Yeah.
Huh.
We flash back. Clark's working at a diner or like a bar or something. And hear some military guys talk about something that was found in the ice.
He's doing a little investigating here. I like that detectiveness, like Batman-esque.
And then Clark stops a pervert from assaulting a lady. And then Frank, he throws water in Clark's face and Clark blinks.
Well, he's got to act like,
And then instead of like fighting, Clark is leaving and he throws the thing at him and he like stops. Not my weak ass Superman. Not my Superman. The real Superman would have just kept walking, never even felt it.
Well, yeah, because, we're going to get that again in the next one that's coming out.
Well, we weren't, but then they digitally fixed it.
Well,
so
yeah,
he doesn't
flinch.
flinch.
He flinched a little bit. Yeah, he doesn't flinch in Man of Steel. There's no flinch.
He blinks.
Does he
and
blink?
Then he stops.
Does he blink when he?
Yeah, when he gets splashed, he blinks.
Well, yeah, the
he gets
splash,
knocked over by like a wave early on in the movie when he's on the boat. There's like a bunch of stuff that later on some kids push him down.
That was more so just to show that he's clumsy. That's him like doing the Clark Kent thing.
I mean, but here's the thing. All right, I get that guy was an asshole.
Yeah,
and sure, break his truck. But if you're Frank, I don't know if you know this, but if I was a spaceman with like cool powers, and I wanted to be under the radar and lay low and not be tracked, I probably would have like slashed his tires or like broke his engine. I wouldn't have picked logs up and impaled the truck in a way that isn't physically possible because someone looking for a spaceman might be like, hey, there was this weird thing that couldn't have possibly happened unless it was a spaceman with powers.
Okay. So I'll let you in on a little thing here.
Okay.
Right? So this whole journey for Clark, right? When he's going job to job to try and find, not just who he was, if he can get any, any info on who he was or where he came from, not just that, but also his faith in humanity. So he's kind of searching for, like, should I be protecting these people? Is it worth it? Like, my dad, died to conceal my identity. Like he's very distraught and being pushed and pulled because then you get this asshole who's, throwing water in his face. And he's like, he might be losing a little bit of faith in humanity in that moment. So he, goes outside and destroys his truck.
I'm fine with him destroying.
It was a little heat in the moment. But,
I'm fine with him destroying the truck. It's the way he destroyed the truck. I'm like, well, now everyone's going to look for you, you ass. That was a real obvious thing that you did.
But he's also at this moment in his life where he's like, if I'm going to come out, I'm coming out now. You know what I mean? Like he's right on the cusp of having to come out.
I guess so. I just think it was a little overkill. Also, it's so CGI, it looks fake as shit when they cut to it.
It's a very quick shot. Yeah.
So yes, Lois Lane shows up,
and then you get, like I was saying, that the faith in humanity, whether if if he can really trust these people, if he wants to help these people, whatever it is. Your next shot is Lois Lane's face.
Yes.
Faith in humanity restored.
Played by Amy Adams, who was the fat-sucking vampire in Smallville. So she's had experience with Superman before.
That's right.
Yeah, and I have it here. She's a woke girl boss. She walks in acting real tough, flexing that she's been in war zones. Then she makes fun of the guy's dick. And this is obviously the feminist agenda that Zack Snyder is pushing on us.
We're done measuring dicks. Can you have your people show me what you found?
It's just a dick measuring contest.
People
joke.
wonder why are superhero movies so feminine now? We're getting like the Marvels, they're like gender swapping characters, and I think Zack Snyder really helped it by putting all this woke girl boss stuff in the movie.
He started it.
He started it, and that's why movies are woke now. Thanks, Zack Snyder.
You
ruined movies.
Do you know that I never thought of that about this film until you said that today?
What are you talking about? It's pretty obvious to me.
That that
she walks in, she's making fun of guys, she's bragging about how she does tough stuff. Woke girl boss.
What was Lois Lane like in the other 4 Superman movies we reviewed? 5, actually.
She was really funny and smoked a lot.
Really? She wasn't like girl bossy and like pushy and like telling people what to do.
She was a
and
happy homemaker,
how to
very
do it.
traditional.
Yeah. Oh God! If you weren't canceled yet. God.
What was she like?
Where's
what was
Crystal when I need a sandwich?
What
You
was-
know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Fuck.
What was Lois Lane like in the other movies? Well, sometimes she was skeletal, depending on what days they were shooting her scenes.
Maybe a little drunk and on cocaine
Maybe
as
a little
well.
buzzed in some scenes. And then we meet Emil Hamilton,
Yes.
which I kept writing Emil Hamel. And I'm like, who's Emil Hamel? I'm like, is that a person? Why do they think it was Emil Hamel?
Emilio.
It's Emil Hamilton,
Yeah.
played by the guy who was Eddie Carr in Lost World Jurassic Park, the one that the 2 T-Rexes ripped apart.
Yes.
The twins really like that scene.
That's right.
When I showed them the Jurassic Park movies.
cool.
Yes, and Emil Hamilton, Star Labs, very big Superman character. I'm like, well, obviously they're introducing him so he could be a part of many stories to come.
Universe. We're gonna see him again.
This will become a trend with Snyder.
I know,
so then,
dude. It's so horrible.
So then we meet Christopher Maloney. Who is he playing in this? Is this character from the comics? For a minute, I thought he was Lois Lane's dad, like military dad, but that's not the case.
Yeah, that would have been cool, huh?
Yeah.
His name, Colonel Nathan Hardy.
It's not jumping out to me if that's
I
a
know,
Superman.
I
It
don't-
probably
I
is,
don't.
but it's not sticking out to me. Yeah, it's weird they
I
don't.
don't
She
know.
does so much stuff with the military in this. Why didn't they bring in her
Yeah, bring her
dad?
into that. Yeah, I mean, especially if you're starting a universe, like that's like.
If you start a whole universe, and if this Superman is working with the military so much and Lois Lane's involved, I would have her father there.
Yeah, I hope
That's
he's-
weird
I hope
that
he's in the
General
new-
Lane's not in this.
Yeah, I hope he's in the new universe. Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe not right away.
you get
but I
you
can see him
get
being
you get General Swanwick.
in the new one.
Swanwick. Well, no, in this.
Oh, in this, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who that is.
Harry Lennox plays General Swanwick.
Yeah, is that the one they retroactively made Manhunter?
He was always Manhunter
Bullshit.
from the start, Tony.
Bullshit. Well,
He
that,
knew
a
what he
lot
was
of this
doing.
movie's problematic then. It's like, he should be doing way more. I know Martian Manhunter's powers, and he is just letting this shit. He was 100% not Martian Manhunter.
Maybe there was just always fire around when he wanted to help, and he was like, "Oh
I
God,
think there were a lot of fan theories.
oh God, my kryptonite is fire. I shouldn't go near it."
No, I think after this came out, people were adding fan theories, and they worked it into Justice League. There's no way in fucking hell
Snyder was like, "That's a great idea." Yeah.
It's like when you watch the first Star Wars. It's like Darth Vader is not his father at all. That is something they retroact, and like same with Leia. Like that is not his sister.
You don't think so? You don't think that they like set all that up? Like it's
No.
just like, hey, let's do this big twist.
Same with Halloween. Laurie Strode, not Michael's sister in
Well,
that
yeah,
first one.
That one I know, was
But anyway,
strange.
so yeah, she's there to.
Good thing you didn't have Luke and Leia fuck.
She
Jeez,
just
that
made
would have
out.
been weird. That would have been weird.
So yeah, she's there to investigate what they're doing with the ship. Christopher Maloney's not thrilled that she's there.
No, because what are we doing? You're bringing a journalist in
Yeah.
here, like to expose our shit. Also,
Yeah.
Clark just happens to be there at this perfect
She sees
time.
Clark climbing the wall, and she's like, "What's your deal?" So she follows him up there, and his super hearing hears none of this. So then a pin art robot tries to kill Clark.
Yeah.
But then he puts the crystal in the machine. Then it's like, "Oh, I know
Yeah.
who you are. Hi, Also, I'm still functional thousands of years later. I don't know what battery I run on.
Well, because it's high alien technology.
I guess
like
so.
it's like
I guess so.
It's very advanced, and they know what they're doing, and they've been waiting for someone to come back. So
But then here he sees his ghost dad walking around the ship, not saying anything, acting like a real creep.
because he's trying to guide him to a certain.
I guess
part
so, but
of
I
the
would
ship.
I would be like, "Hi, I'm your ghost dad. You're going to want to go down here." I wouldn't be like, "Ooh, ooh." So Lois is
if he came out right away and he was like, "Hey, how you doing, son? I'm your dad, whatever." Like he wanted to get him to that certain room so that he can show.
I would have
him-
been like, "Hello, follow me."
So that he-
Also, English was programmed into our thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna nitpick that. I'm not gonna
No,
nitpick
don't you
that.
fucking dare.
I'm not nitpicking
Because it
that.
goes through your mind. You're like, well, how do they speak English?
That
on
is, I really
Krypton?
need to get back to watching My Adventures with Superman because
So good.
I love the first season. Like he doesn't understand Kryptonian or
Yeah.
Jor-El. He's like
So good.
So I want to see how they develop that. That was
Yeah,
fun.
it's
My only
awesome.
issue with that show is like the bad guys were coming out of the Lex Luthor factory or something, or no, the Cadmus fact. They were like all the bad guys were coming out of like one, like General Lane, I think, was making these bad guys. Or something.
Yes, yeah.
Or he was like collecting them.
They took Lex's technology or whatever it is, and they started making things. I forget. It's. been a
I just
while
remember
since
all
I've
the
seen
bad
it.
guys were like dressed the same and they were coming out of the same thing. I got to rewatch it.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like what the Andrew Garfield movies are doing. It's like, all right, so is every bad guy coming out of the Oscorp factory?
Yeah. I
Other than
mean,
that, it was an interesting take.
easy way to explain it. Also, Lois Lane just climbs on the side of an ice mountain here, which is very risky. But yeah,
Well,
sure. I guess.
well,
she's
you know,
gonna
she
do
saw
that.
Tom Cruise do it,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Fucking, I'm a woke girl boss. I'll do it. I'll just woke girl boss up this."
She's like, oh, it's just a steep cliff.
she
with-
lectured the cliff. She's like, "Actually, it's offensive if you don't let me at the top cliff."
I would have heat visioned a tunnel through too, but
Yeah.
I didn't need to because Superman already did.
Thank God he made that tunnel.
Yeah. Thank
So
God.
she's spying on him. He's investigating, and then
Mm-hmm.
we see some dead Kryptonians, and then one of the pods is left open, and this was supposed to be like a mystery. Because I guess Snyder really loved J.J. Abrams' mystery box thing that he was doing in all his movies.
Yeah.
So much like it was a mystery that was going to be explored later, and I have it here. Much like the UFOs and Robot Zombie and Army of the Dead, we're never going to see the payoff for that.
Nope.
Is that Supergirl?
I hate that.
Yeah.
You know why I hate that?
Mm.
Because the ship is surrounded by ice that's 18,000 years old
Yeah.
or whatever fucking number they
Mm.
said. And then later on, Snyder was like, oh, well, we kind of set it up just in case, for Supergirl, possibly, like this and
Yeah.
that. And it's like, why? How does that like what? Maybe the warp hole took him back in time, but then she's been there for 18,000 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
And then
Because when that whole
Although I
theory
did
thing
have-
was going around, it's like, well, what the
before
what?
this, a few years before this, there was that comic where it turns out there was like there's an older Kryptonian that's just been living on Earth the whole time,
Yeah.
not interfering.
Yeah.
So
Which-
that's something you could have explored. Instead, it never gets explored. I'm like,
Yes.
why even introduce it?
exactly.
Later on, we see like Kryptonians who were like murdered, I guess, on the other outposts. Like, why did did they crash on the ice and then just die? Did they never leave the ship and get the radiation? Why are they dead?
Where did they die? What did we see?
Sorry. So later on, we see like when Zod's telling
When
his
he's
story,
rebuilding
we
the
see
ship
them,
and
like,
all
murdered.
that. Oh,
But the
okay,
ones
yeah,
on this ship in
Yep.
the beginning,
yeah, where
it's
yeah.
like, did they just never leave the ship? Because I guess the atmosphere of the ship, I
Yeah.
don't know.
and they just never
That was weird. So I
Are
don't know
they
why
s-
they died.
Are they still in the containers? The whatever?
Yeah,
the
they're in the
beds, right?
pods,
And
yeah.
they're just dead in there, right?
Yeah, they're just
Like,
dead.
It's just, yeah.
So yeah, we'll never know what
What
the
a
hell their story is.
What a shitty payoff.
Huh?
What a shitty non-payoff.
Yeah.
it's hard.
And then Lois gets attacked by a robot, and Clark kills the robot, and then fixes her wound,
yeah.
and then takes off in the spaceship. Real quick, a change I like.
Uh-huh. Ooh, saucy.
I like that the Fortress of Solitude was just a Kryptonian ship.
Yeah,
That's a good way to get a Kryptonian ship in there.
love that.
Yeah.
Think it's great.
They immediately ruin it in the next movie. They ruin it in this movie,
Well,
and then they continue
yes.
to ruin it.
Yeah.
It actually never becomes the Fortress of Solitude ever.
Yeah.
He never reclaims it and takes it back. He just leaves it in Metropolis for people to study.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The ship's there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, fuck yeah, that's right.
but I like the idea that was going to be the Fortress of Solitude.
he doesn't have a fortress, right? In the latest
This was
ones?
supposed to be it, and then they took it in a weird direction and they ended
Yeah.
up not using it. But I
Yeah.
like the idea of that. Like the new movie, I'm excited for the new movie. We're doing the crystals again. I'm like, seen a lot of the crystals. That feels like it's very specific. I know it's been worked into the comics, but I'm like, I'm okay if we don't do crystals.
But like it kind of brings you back to the comics and and all
Because
that
that
It's
movie
kinda
made
cool
them. The
and-
crystals are now in the
Yeah,
comics, but I
because
don't
of-
feel like we always have to do the crystals.
Yeah.
So this was actually a change that I didn't mind. I'm like, okay, cool. It's a big spaceship. Nice. And then they ruin it at the end.
Yeah.
But
would've
it was a
been cool.
good idea, Frank. It was a good idea.
They started with an idea to strive towards.
So yeah, he takes off on the ship, and like, you know what? He's so heroic. He cauterized her wound, and then he left her on a patch of ice overnight. He didn't even bring her back to the camp. He just left her on the ice. I'm like,
And bounced.
I'm sure that jacket's warm. I'm like, she's gonna die from exposure to the elements. You ass.
Somebody will find you out here.
I was just like, what if like is there polar bears? I forget exactly where we are. Like
I mean,
anything.
he saved her. He made sure he wasn't bleeding out. And
I would have put her in the camp where people could have found her earlier. Instead, it's like the next day, helicopter's like, oh, there's a lady on the ice.
He didn't want people to know that he was out there. You know what I mean?
So she's writing about it, and she gives it to her boss, which is Perry White, played by Lawrence Fishburne. Woke. Snyder made it woke.
What?
Perry White, Lawrence Fishburne, woke.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying, but I don't get what you're fucking saying.
It's just woke.
I mean, it could be, but it also
Zack Snyder does not respect the lore of the comics. He doesn't respect the lore. It's horrible. Look, you know what?
I'm not even biting on that.
You know what's funny? We talked about a different superhero movie with Lawrence Fishburne recently. I did what is the worst Fantastic Four so far?
Yes.
And I forgot that he was the voice of Silver Surfer in Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yes, he's the man. I love him as Perry White in this. I think he's great.
He's one of the better things in the movie. One of the better actors in
really
the movie.
good voice of reason, plays it well.
Yeah, and I like that he's just like, no, we're not running a spaceman safety. You were They found you on a pack of ice several miles away from the camp. You were probably hallucinated all this because you got lost in the wild.
So I think that he believes her. I think that he fully trusts her and all that, but it's more so like he doesn't want the paper to be gone after by the government or looked at as conspiracy theorists, because the government is obviously going to shut her down.
Yeah.
They're going to say Lois Lane's a kook, she's crazy. So Perry White, instead of dealing with all that bullshit, he just says he kind of like smiles at her at one point too, like so that like they know that they're on the same page. He's like, we're not doing this, Lois.
By the way, it is funny, like 2 movies later from now, he should be like, oh, a spaceman? That's ridiculous. We live in a world where there's Mexican gods that breathe fire and alligator people, and there's a guy who dresses up like a bat, and he sometimes fights a dude who throws boomerangs. We live in the real. And then when you get even further, you're like aliens on Earth where some sharks walk upright and talk? Not on my watch.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing is, this one is trying to be so much like the Dark Knight trilogy. When they tried to open it up to be a larger universe, it's like, these movies do not jive with this initial entry at all. Same about the MCU. A lot of those movies do kind of fit with the first Iron Man. Whereas these, I'm like, it's hard to believe these are even connected, these movies.
I mean, same tone. I mean, they really do fit with the same with the first Iron Man. It's just
Lois, there aren't magical flying people except for that one time in World War I and that other time in 1984 where there was that woman who was very wonderful.
There was prequels.
Other than that, people don't fly, Lois.
Maybe Wonder Woman kissed him and took his memory away.
She gives her story to a rival because she wants to get Clark's attention. She wants him to know that she's coming for him, and also she's an alcoholic because she towns of Jack and Coke in the middle of the day.
Well, yeah, she does throw that back. He's kind of like a conspiracy theorist rival, right? Like he's he's like an Alex,
or like a blogger.
Alex
Here's my
Jones
question.
type.
So it's been several days, right? Because she had to go back and recover and stuff. And then it cuts to Clark on the ship, and him and Ghost Dad are having their first conversation. I'm like, what has he been doing the last few days?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
has he just been hanging out?
I guess it's a bad cut back and forth.
Yeah, just I'm like, wait, what is the timeline here?
Didn't really think about that. But
The ship says something about calibrating. It's like, was it loading Ghost Dad for a week? Is that how complicated?
maybe he was just checking out his new digs. You know what I mean? He's like, maybe Jor-El was like, hey, there's your room back there on the left. You know, hang out in there. Check out your different suits. You want the black one? You want the blue one?
Yeah,
you know?
God.
Kind of like went through everything first, you know?
So,
Your mother let me die, and then we shipped you off. You know, it's
Yeah.
the whole thing. you
So
know?
he meets with him and he
Upsetting.
tells him the whole story of Krypton as told by Metal Spencer's Gifts pin art. Did he make all these graphics? That's fun.
I like this.
Yeah, but why? Okay, why are all the holograms the Metal Push pin art, but Jor-El is just a normal looking guy? Why is he the one hologram that isn't all weird? Because earlier he like calls his wife and she's like a metal thing and it's like a phone.
Yeah, and she also says, "Look out behind you." What's on her end in that scene?
I don't know.
Because does she see? Wouldn't she also just see his face? But then she says, "Look out behind you," and then he turns around and he shoots the guy.
I don't know.
Do you remember? Like, right?
That was
Like,
weird.
Maybe because she's in like their home that she has like a big wall.
Yeah,
one
maybe.
of those, and he just has this small one traveling around.
Maybe.
With
I
him
just
that's
don't know why
pocket-sized.
Jor-El is the one that is like a human hologram and
Yeah.
everything else is
Yeah.
pin art. That was
Well,
like,
I mean, it's also going through like imagery and things and stuff like that. So it's like it's not people.
he should be a
like,
metal pin art, man.
He should. He should just walk around as a.
It should be consistent. So yeah, he tells him it's like, yes, Kryptonians, we did this. We even tried to terraform and travel the universe, and then we stopped. And I'd be like, wait, no, back up. Why did you stop? Can someone tell us why we stopped? Why do you keep bringing it up if you're not going to tell me why?
We were looking for other planets to live on, but then what?
The other
we
movies
didn't want to
never
do it
bring it
anymore?
up, so I never think to ask why. But this one, I'm like, you're bringing it up a lot. Can we just know?
Are there other Kryptonians living on other planets out there? What the fuck is happening?
So he shows him the Genesis chamber, and he's like, by the way, I hate this thing, but here it is. It's like, okay. And then a vagina on the wall opens up and reveal. So again, this, I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't have done this in a Superman movie,
Birthing.
but I get the vaginal opening and the birth of the Superman suit. I still don't get the dildos going into the Phantom Zone. I don't understand the deeper meaning of
Because they're dicks.
I just realized they're all dicks. I get it now. I get it.
And
They're
this
all
is a
dicks.
flower blooming. Okay? All right? Is that good?
And I'm going to assume that this spaceship printed the suit for him, because why would it have the Jor-El symbol on it? But I assume you can program suits into this and it will print a suit for you.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I
And
mean,
it gave him red, blue, and a little bit of yellow.
well, yeah, I mean, it's like the suit of, hope or whatever it is, It's not the
It means
the all
hope.
black and
This
gray
overly
one.
complicated S with way too many lines in it. It means hope.
Yeah.
It means hope.
But I believe it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that, they kind of said that it's hope back on their Earth,
Yeah.
It's
I like that they mentioned that because that is from the comics. They never brought it up. I don't think
Yeah.
it was even introduced in the comics when they were doing the old movies that it meant hope.
I don't think
But I like
so,
that the old movie established it as like a family symbol.
Yeah. I think it's very cool. This whole movie is very hopeful and it brings me to
Yeah.
tears at moments. It's beautiful. I love his little monologue here. Talking about,
There was one, I have to read All Star Superman. I don't own it, but there's a line in here that's like from All Star Superman, I think. Which I wonder if we're going to hear again because the new movie's a lot influenced by All Star Superman.
By All Star, yeah.
Yeah.
But he says, you will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They'll race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in
Which
the sun, Cal.
they used in the trailer, and it got me really hype. And then at the end of the movie, I was like, no, humanity will hate this asshole. He killed more people than the bad guys.
In time, you will help them accomplish wonders. It's beautiful.
Unless a space troll kills you. But let's hope that a bat and a robot man and the fish guy bring you back. Let's hope for that. Also, there's
Boy, this gets weird, doesn't it?
Huh.
This gets weird. Yeah.
Also, there's some like ladies that are super strong. They're on an island. You might want to link up with one of them. You might want to like hook up with one of
I'm
them.
going to link up with all of them.
I don't know if you can have sex with regular human women, Clark. So you're gonna want to go find that island. It's invisible. You've got vision that'll look past it. Also, Greek gods are real. Find out where they are. You might want to hang out with them.
I
So,
love that moment. That whole I say that a lot, and it's a great little saying.
It's a great line.
Yeah.
Sad it's in this movie. So Clark gets the big Superman suit. And I think it's been revealed later on that they like digitally darken the suit because I guess their fear of Green Lantern flopping. And it's like, well, no, Green Lantern, it was like a weird glow in the dark meat suit. He looked like a predator that was skinned. That was that problem's movie. Also, that movie just sucked. I don't think we needed to darken and desaturate the colors on this.
Yes.
I thought they were just trying to mimic the Dark Knight color palette, which is fine for Batman. It's weird for Superman.
Yeah, I mean it shouldn't have been darkened. I mean Superman should be bright and colorful and big and blue.
Because the suit was colorful. I mean, they make it way more colorful in the later ones.
Yeah.
But like when you see like the set pictures, like it doesn't look like it was supposed to be that darkened. But yeah, so he's jumping around. He's testing his limits.
He's jumping and jumping.
And
first flight, dude. This whole moment, man.
I don't know, Frank.
This whole sequence is one of my favorite moments of the film, dude.
But hell, Frank, seeing the first time we see Superman, he's falling in the snow and hurt. Not my Superman. I don't want the first time to see Superman to be him crashing out of the sky into the snow. Not my Superman.
It's probably the best first flight sequence ever.
That's all right.
I'm not even going to entertain that one.
So he's flying. Again, you know what? It starts off okay, and then CGI crash him, shaky cam, CGI crash him. CGI. I'm like, oh my God, can we just see him fly for a little bit?
I mean,
you can do it sometimes.
It's the tone of the film. And it's
I guess so, but I'm just like, I'm like, little kids are gonna hate this. They're gonna be like, what's happening?
I think it looks cool flying in this film. I'm very interested.
I like the sonic boom, which they did first in Superman Returns. I like that they do the sonic boom a little bit more.
They do it really well here. I'm really worried about how Gunn has the new Superman flying and the way that they shoot him, and
it's probably gonna look like it did in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He likes that weird wide angle close up,
wide angle. Yeah, it looks. I mean, in the latest trailer that they did, the Lex trailer, it's close up on his face, but then it also cuts to the side, and it looks really cool from the side.
And it's shaking a little bit, but we can kind of tell what happens. But yeah, we'll see what it looks like in the whole film.
Yeah, I think the flying in this, I really like the flying in this film.
Yeah, it's all right. I like how big his cape is. I like the long cape.
Dude, yeah. It always looks cool.
And he looks good. I mean, I don't like the suit, but he looks good in the suit. He looks like Superman, except they don't give him the curl. What the fuck?
He does. He does get the curl.
When Batman v Superman, when his hair's wet, and
when he's fighting in some moments, and he gets the curl. By the end of this film, he has the curl.
Barely.
He needs to grow into the curl. You don't just get the fucking curl. You have to deserve the curl.
Nah, we need the curl. Curl right away.
I like your curl.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's nice.
Hair does it naturally.
Hair looks great today.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I'm wondering if I should grow it. I don't know if I should grow it long.
See, I'm
or
nice.
cut it again.
I'm a nice guy.
No.
Cut it.
Got it.
Yeah. Don't do that long hair thing.
You didn't like me with long hair?
I loved you with long hair. The viewers didn't.
It's weird because I'm thinning, so the long hair really highlights the thinning. The short hair, it's less noticeable.
Yeah, I don't think you're thin, and then you look great.
Thank you.
You look good, buddy.
Thank you. You look good, too. Bad opinions on Superman films, but you look great, Frank.
See, I was giving you nice compliments here to maybe you'd come over to my side a little bit.
You can compliment one thing and criticize another.
Yeah.
Your beard looks very nice, and you have horrible opinions on Superman.
This is a very good film. I will stand by
this
that.
film, are you pointing to it? Soul Man? Yeah, Soul Man's a great film. Me and Mandy reviewed it. We had a great time.
Shit, this is a very good film. I will.
Zombies by Design? Yeah, that's the first movie I ever acted in.
I will stand by that until the day that I die. Man of Steel is a wonderful film.
Steel starring Shaquille O'Neal? I mean, it's okay. Okay.
Oh, man, I just missed Manny by a day.
I know.
Such a shame.
Okay, so Lois starts interviewing people about Clark.
Yeah.
And she's like, I had to retrace his steps. And, you know, it was real easy. It's like, did anything weird happen before the spaceship taking off? They're like, well, actually, some guy's truck was suspended in the air by the logs he was hauling. She's like, well, that's probably the alien that I met.
Also, how did Clark get onto that government site so quickly? Like, he just heard about a job application.
He just heard where. Well, he probably followed the military guys there.
But he was working for them.
Was he working there?
Yeah, he takes Lois's bags when she gets off the helicopter.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah, when she gets off the helicopter, it's him taking her bags.
Oh, I didn't realize.
So I was like, I mean, I guess like he used his powers and stuff and like listened in.
Does he have ID? He doesn't have like
that.
ID on him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it gets like a little like shifty where it's like, how did
faking IDs and stuff?
How did he go from a bar back to now he's working for the government, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
I totally missed it. He was grabbing the bag. I thought he just showed up there.
Grabs the bags.
So yeah, she eventually traces Superman, like Clark, back to his home. You know, she stops by the 7-Eleven and the IHOP. A lot of product placement in this.
Yeah, doesn't every movie have product placement?
Yeah, but it's shoehorned into Smallville, and it looks weird.
I
It
know,
looks weird when
it's really.
you know,
bad.
Thor had a small town, and they had the 7-Eleven product placement too. But it was like that was just Thor. That was like one moment in it. I think they had a Burger King one. There actually is a deleted scene in Thor where they have a Burger King burger like right in the frame of the camera. And I'm like, I'm sure in editing they're like, that's too much.
This is a lot.
This movie has a lot of product placement. Maybe that's what made it financially successful. They're like, actually, we got 1 million products to pay us.
Maybe, yeah.
I know that helps Adam Sandler. His movies are like wall to wall product placement.
Yeah, he gets money for him. Yeah. IHOP is like right in your face.
The IHOP.
It's like wow.
Across from the Sears.
How much money did IHOP spend on this? Yeah.
IHOP, Sears, 7-Eleven, U-Haul. They're all over there.
As soon as I was done watching this movie, I was like, I really want pancakes.
You're like, I want a Budweiser beer and I want to take some pictures on my Nikon camera.
Yeah.
She talks to Martha and eventually she gets to Jonathan Kent's tombstone. And it says he dies in 1997, which means he lived long enough to see Waterworld get really bad reviews. And depending when he died in 1997, he probably saw The Postman bomb in theaters.
Is that when it said that he died? 97?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
You think he was in Waterworld in this universe?
No, I don't think that would have been weird if Jonathan Kent was in Waterworld in this universe.
Yeah, maybe that's,
They cast me because I look like Kevin Costner.
Maybe that's why he died.
Go back and watch my Waterworld review. I reviewed Waterworld last year.
Wow.
We did the, what was it? The Odyssey cut, which is the extended cut of Waterworld. Is it better? Oh. Let's go watch the episode.
You would have been better off going to Universal and watching the live Waterworld show that they do there.
I never got to see that.
That's still running.
I don't think it was. It wasn't in Orlando.
Isn't that still running?
It was somewhere else. I think so. Then when you watch my Waterworld episode, go to Peg Warmers and watch the episode of Waterworld toys we reviewed. We have all the Waterworld toys. We went through all of them.
I didn't know they made toys for that movie.
So it's good to know that Jonathan Kent lived long enough to see The Postman bomb at the box office.
That's good.
So Clark meets Lois.
Yes, he does.
And he's just like, stop looking for me. Stop. And then
Leave me alone, you creep.
He flashes back.
Strong woman, huh? Yeah, it sounds like a stalker if you ask me.
He flashes back to the day his dad died. They were arguing because he wants to, I don't know, be a football guy or something. And he's like, I don't want to be a farmer. You're not my real dad. Also, he seems a little too old to do that. You're not my real dad.
I mean, he looked pretty good, like younger, like when they kind of de-aged him here a little bit.
I guess
with
so.
Makeup and shaved him, and
so he's like, I don't want to be a farmer, and then a tornado rolls in.
Yeah, you're not even my real dad.
Yeah,
I know.
And they have to save everyone, including the dog.
Well, they run out because he's like, hey, get out of here, and then then Jonathan saves the girl, gets her back, but then she's like, oh my god, the dog. So technically, it's Martha's fault because Martha could have grabbed the dog when they first got out of the car. So you can't blame this on Clark or Jonathan. It's really Martha's fault.
It really is. I frankly finally agree. I also blame women for the cause of a lot of things.
So you're saying it's a movie about strong women. That wasn't a very strong thing of her to do. Was leave the dog in the car.
By the way, if I'm like running from a tornado,
and
someone goes, "The dog's in the car," I'd be like, "Not my fucking problem."
Are you kidding me? I watched this movie and I was like, dude, I will personally go get that dog.
The most I would do is Independence Day, where the mom just goes, Boomer, we're over here. Hope you catch up. Like, that's what I would do. I wouldn't be like, no, the dog. I'd be like, it sucks. That dog's going to die. No. Anyway, let's go.
Didn't you ever see Billy Madison, dude? You got to get your fucking ass out here and get that dog.
No. I've seen Billy Madison. I'm just not saving the dog.
Damn,
so then.
I would save the dog. Go on.
By the way, everyone in the fucking town knows Clark's a weird spaceman. Like, they've all figured it out.
Yes.
But Jonathan's like, no, don't save me. I don't want you to expose yourself. I'll let this tornado kill me. I'm like, he could have grabbed... People have survived tornadoes. You could have came up with some crazy, like, oh my God, we got in the car and it shielded us. I can't believe... And Jonathan's already injured. Just Clark would have to pretend he got, like, scratched or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's like... Yeah, he's scared in this moment.
Yeah.
Like, he's been...
That's the thing. This Jonathan never, like, grows or matures. And then, honestly, it would have been fine if they kept him alive. And he lived long enough to realize that he shouldn't have been sheltering him. And he should have
Yeah.
like accepted his son.
I'll give you that.
But because they like the original movie, they decide to kill Jonathan. Like, you don't have to kill Jonathan all the time.
But also give him a heart attack then.
Yeah, something that it works in that one because it's something he can't
do.
stop. This
Yeah.
one he could stop.
Exactly. But he's telling him no. And it's like, well, at some point, he's going to have to take over and be Superman and come out, and people are going to have
That's
to
the thing.
know,
He's
and
like, the
it's
world's not ready. The world's not ready. I'm like, well, you haven't really told him when he can do
But
anything.
also, you're ready to die to save that? Like, to
Yeah.
not let people in on it?
What did it
and-
change in his life? He's
Yeah.
really the worst Jonathan Kent ever.
The craziest part is, and this is the worst part of the film.
Yeah.
The thing at the end, I don't give a fuck about. This is like, what the fuck are we actually doing right now? Because once the world does find out that there's a Superman, the whole first hour and 20 minutes of this film is Jonathan Kent telling him like, you know, the world's not ready, like, you know, everything will, like, people will lose their minds, or they don't know how to act or what to do, or, you know, everything will be
We're
ruined.
still getting over that time in the 80s where that guy granted everyone's wish at the same time and everything went crazy, and then a lady in golden eagle armor had to fight a cat lady. And then she went on the TV and said, hey, everyone be nice to each other. We're all still trying to forget that.
I think everybody was just on copious amounts of cocaine, and they were like, "Oh no, we're just imagining this." Yeah, that wasn't real.
He's like, son, you weren't around for that, but that was real crazy when that happened.
Cocaine's
And
a hell of a drug.
They're still looking for whoever that lady in the golden bird suit was. They never found her.
Huh, I
They're
hope you
gonna
meet
do
her.
the same thing to you, buddy.
Okay, so once Clark does come out, and the world knows that there is a Superman, there is no rioting. There's no shots of like people losing their
some
minds.
people hate him. A lot of this next movie is about how a lot of people hate him.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor hates him.
But the whole point of why Jonathan died in this tornado was because he was afraid for the rest of the world to find out and what they would do to him.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Literally, the next day, everyone goes back to work.
Yeah.
Like, Zod comes over I mean, we'll get to it, but Zod comes over, like, the people find out there's aliens, you're not alone, there's a Superman,
You should be like, you know what, Clark, make sure another Kryptonian comes out first and see how they react to him. They're like, well, I'm not as bad as Zod, right?
As that guy. Always hit him with the worst thing first, and then be like, but I'm here to help.
I mean, I don't know if I trust this Superman, but he's not as bad as Zod, even though actually Superman is worse than Zod. By the end of the movie,
You're nuts.
So many people.
It's his first outing. It's his first time out.
He should quit. He should have quit after. If this was my first time superhero, I'm like, this is not for me. I'm gonna go to another planet. I clearly fucked up royal.
But like that, none of that. We'll get to it. But none of that's on him.
So,
but yeah, the whole tornado thing makes no sense. I
Yeah.
wish they would have went a different route. But you know, it does kind of drive home, you know, to Clark how serious being Superman is.
Yeah.
And you know, to take it seriously and to be kind to people and to make sure that this world is okay.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
And then we see more of the Daily Planet, and we get Steve Lombard,
Yeah.
who in the Superman comics is the sports journalist, although they never mention that.
At the end, they do.
Do
Kind
they?
of. No, there's a hint towards it.
Oh, I guess a little bit.
There's kind of a hint towards it.
But yeah, I mean, they just never bring it up. I don't know why they were too afraid to
Michael-
mention all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's because Zack Snyder wants to tear down traditional masculinity. I don't know why they didn't do any of that. You're right. There is a weird line where he's like flirting and stuff, and it's like
2 tickets courtside Lakers.
was more
whatever
cut.
it
I feel like
yeah.
there was stuff cut out with him because he just becomes a character
Yeah.
later in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're barely in this fucking movie.
Yep.
You just kind of stood around.
Where did you come from? It's what's his name? Michael Kelly.
I think so. Yeah,
He
from
was-
House of Cards.
He was on the Penguin as well.
Yes,
I was
yes.
on set that day that he was there during a couple of the scenes.
If you're new here, Frank was in Penguin episode 2.
Debatable. We don't know yet.
No, it was. You could see the back of his head.
It's similar, but we don't know if it's the same back.
I
of the
think
head.
compare it for yourselves.
It could be. It could not be. You know. It's,
Frank, are you excited?
we may never know.
Are
if
you
it was
excited for
actually
this
me.
Saturday? Some people might take pictures of us. Me, who was in The Dark Knight Rises, and Frank, who was in Penguin episode 2.
Well, every time if anyone wants a picture,
Yeah.
right before they take the picture, I'm gonna spin around real quick. It's gonna be the back of my head. Or people are gonna be like, "Hey, can we get a picture?" And then I'll go and I'll smile, and they'll be like, "Well, no. Can you turn around? We want to
No,
see.
we want the back of your head.
we want
the
people
back
to
of your
know
head.
that it's you from the Penguin."
So,
God, that Frank guy's such an asshole.
So then Martha is crying about what if she loses Clark, if people find out he's a spaceman. And then Hamilton warns the general that the very human general, who's definitely not a Martian, he warns him about a ship that's floating around the moon. He's like, hey, this probably can't be good.
Yeah. Hey,
Probably
by the
isn't
way.
good.
Yeah. Have we
And
seen
then,
this?
you know who else notices the moon? Jenny, not Jimmy, lets Noah know about the ship. And Jenny is clearly supposed to be Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, I guess.
Clearly, to fit in with Snyder's woke girl boss agenda.
I mean,
But
all-
obviously, Alpha Chads like me rejected it. We're like, no, not our Jimmy. So to spite Alpha Chads like us,
dude.
Zack Snyder, which I call him, put Jimmy Olsen in the next movie, then shot him. Killed him.
I mean, he might not be dead.
That universe is over, so they can never retroactively fix it. So yes, that was Jimmy Olsen, and he's dead. And because Zack Snyder wouldn't forgive us for not accepting Jenny. Why wasn't it just Jimmy Olsen?
I don't know. I know all of these side characters.
They give her like a different last name too, and it's like,
well, yeah.
you're clearly Jenny.
But like all of these side characters are just so poorly portrayed and written, and it's
I don't think Zack Snyder really likes Superman that much. He probably didn't read too many of the books.
or like just didn't want to add all these extra Superman-esque things.
Yeah.
It's like
Maybe
dude,
Dana Goyer didn't like Superman that much. He's like, let's put in some characters in there. He's the guy named Steve. Yeah, put him in there.
But it's like it's fucking it's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Didn't Jeff Johns have some, or was it later on in the later films that he came in?
Later he
as,
came in.
talk like consultant of all these films.
Yeah.
It's just what.
And then he wrote Wonder Woman 84, and I was like, oh, buddy.
Yeah,
so yeah.
it's like, what are we doing here, dude? No fucking Jimmy Olsen, and then we kill him the second that we see him, because then that's kind of like a, oh, you want Jimmy Olsen? Great, all right, finally, here he is. Not, and then we fucking shoot him in the head.
It's because we didn't accept his woke girl boss.
You think that's it?
Yeah, Snyder, he's like, fine, I'm going to get rid of your real Jimmy Olsen.
Maybe I'll come onto your side and I'll be like a gun head. And, we'll be Chads and we'll start pumping at the gym.
I do
it'll be
pump
real
at the gym.
Well, yeah, that's why I could tell. Yeah.
So Zod lets everyone know. He's like, hi, Earth. Space people exist.
This is awesome.
How you doing?
My name is General Zod.
Is this not like an invasion type movie?
Yeah, I don't know how we're broadcasting this to like everything. I don't understand the technology, but we're doing it.
Ancient technology.
And
dude.
for some reason, I'm wearing a mask to scare you, even though I look like you, and you'd probably accept me more if I wasn't wearing a mask in this weird static. Anyway, so he's like, you're not alone. There's someone who lives down there, and everyone's hearing it and seeing it in their own languages.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, so he's just like, there's a guy named Kal-El. I don't know why he's in the closet. He should be out and proud, like us. So I want him back, or there's gonna be hell to pay.
Yeah, you're all gonna die.
So go find him.
I really like how when his face is on the TVs, that it's the Krypton technology with the
Yeah, a little bit.
whatever,
yeah.
but
Just
like
mixed with static.
But then it's mixed to being on a TV. Like it kind of like they still go with that aesthetic.
And I do like, because everyone knows Lois ratted. Like Lois wrote the article and gave it to that guy, and he rats her out. It's like, Lois knows who this guy is, and the FBI grabs her pretty quick.
They're like, what the fuck?
And then Clark visits a priest.
I love this scene.
Who is this priest? Is it the kid in the flashback we're about to see? Because they never outright say that.
No,
Because then he gets a flashback to a time he almost got into a fight.
Yeah.
And decided not to fight the kid.
Yeah. No.
And his dad was like, I wanted you to hit him, but it's good that you didn't. Always get your ass kicked. I'm like, hey, Jonathan, why don't you like work with your son and see what the limits of her strength is and see if he can fake the human level of strength so he can fight back without killing someone.
I mean, he also doesn't really fully know his strength. So maybe when the tornado came through, like he didn't, like he thought that maybe he can get swept away.
His
and
dad
killed in
probably
the
wouldn't let him
tornado.
practice any of his stuff.
Well, yeah, agreed. But like maybe Jonathan was protecting him that
Yeah.
day. Like I'll die, not you. We don't know if you can survive a tornado. Like you know what I mean? I don't know. But love the priest scene.
Who's the priest?
It's just a priest. He comes back when Clark dies in BVS. And
Way
he's,
later.
He's the priest.
But
at
they
the
put
funeral.
that flashback right in the middle of the scene. I'm like, are we going to learn that kid who bullied him was the priest? I don't know. So he's like, by the way, I'm the space alien. And the priest should be like, I have questions. Because is Jesus real?
So there's still
And Clark's probably like, oh, I don't know. I'm learning this all for the first time. Like, okay.
He probably should have said, "Well, I'm Jesus." Have you talked to Zack Snyder, the director here?
Yeah.
He thinks I'm Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, he's made sure to put me right in front of the Jesus mural. It couldn't be more on the fucking nose.
So many and he says he's 33.
Not in this scene. He says it a few scenes.
But it's later
That
on.
is
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen that go around where he says he's 33 in front of the mural, but he doesn't say that line there. He says it a little bit later.
Yeah.
But it's just like, wow, this is really whatever. But he's like, I don't know what I should do. And he's like, well, something about faith. I don't know.
Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith.
This reminds me of the Ben Affleck Daredevil where he just has that priest friend. It's like, who is that?
I like this scene because it's kind of like, drawing the line here of like, what they believe.
Is he Catholic? This
can-
didn't take place in a confessional. I don't know if this counts as a
He
confession.
probably just, saw the nearest
Not
church.
all confessions take place in the confessional. I know.
It's kind of what, or it's like, he had to talk to a human from Earth that was, in his mind, the most understanding that will hear him out. So it's like, okay, let me go to a church instead of going to a police station.
Yeah.
Let me go see what he thinks.
Yeah.
And
the church is very not biased and has not been known for any shady stuff throughout history. They didn't fund some crusades or anything. Anyway, when you first did your first confession, did you get to do it in the confessional or did you have to face the priest face to face?
Confessional.
Oh goddamn! I had to do it face to face.
Yeah, but through one of the screen ones on the altar, like
No,
there was
no,
still like
so
the semi screen there where it's like, well, no, I could still see you. You're
No,
just
the
walking
first one
up
it
to
was
this?
just face to face. It was in a pew because like so many of us were doing it at once.
Really.
So like some of you go in the confessional and like here you go face to face. Say all your sins to that guy. I'm like ah.
But did he still like look away or like was he looking
I
you
don't
in the
remember that
face?
part. I just remember I saw the priest and I'm like I don't like this. I've been told my whole life. I've seen an episode of Seinfeld. It's in a confessional. Why am I doing this face to face? I hate this.
I can't look you in the eyes and tell you that I was mean to my sister and I yelled at my parents and I stole candy.
Like me and your sister talked about. Did you ever have Monsignor McGuire at?
He told her because he came into her class one day and he said he pulled out my sister and he said, when was the last time that you went to church? And my sister told the truth. Instead of always just say, oh, this past Sunday.
Yeah.
She told the truth and she was like, oh, I haven't gone in a month. And he turned around in front of the whole class and he said, well, you're going to burn in hell.
He said that to so many of us.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
He told me the war in Iraq was my fault.
I mean,
And I
well, it was.
I wanted to be like, buddy, I'm like 12 and I don't own a car. If my parents don't take me here, I don't come here. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to do here. The priest is like, I don't know. God will do it. Maybe if he's real. I'm not sure. So then, Superman shows up at the army base.
Yes, he does.
And he's like, I'll turn myself in if you free Lois Lane. Then he gets interviewed by Lois and he tells her about the overly designed MCU S on his chest. He's like, it means hope. And then she's like, how about and then she doesn't say it. And then the origin of the Superman name comes a few scenes later, and it's stupid. I do like that he's trying to let them know that he's on their side. And he's just like, she's like, nice handcuffs, and they're trying to watch. He's like, I know you're in there. I can see through the mirror. And also, the handcuffs don't do shit. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
I'll figure this out. If you want me to turn myself over to them, I will. I'll figure out what they want.
Yeah, this also mimics. I think I felt like they were like, oh, like the interrogation scene was the best thing in The Dark Knight. We need an interrogation scene in this movie. Can we do something similar, please? Snyder was like, yeah, I guess I can if that's what you really want. And then, I mean, it's a great scene. It's awesome, the imagery of him, handcuffed and walking in and just obeying.
I don't know why they have there's like a sign in the back and it's half painted over, and I didn't understand that.
Is it half painted over? What does it say?
I forget. It says like stand behind the line or something, but there's like it's half. I don't know. It took my attention. I'm like, what does that sign say? Why is it
There's a Batman poster later in the film. Remember when that was going around?
a Batman poster?
Yeah, I'll tell you when we get to it.
Okay. There's a Wayne logo, but I didn't know about the Batman poster.
In the Wayne building, in the offices, there's a very small
Wayne
clip.
building.
Wayne. Why am I having a fucking blank right now? In the Wayne Tower, in Metropolis. There's a Wayne Tower in Metropolis.
I know in the next movie. I didn't know there was one in this.
Well, like people think that that's what it is. But like in one of the offices, when the big fight's going on, there's a tiny little poster all the way in the back. If you pause it at the right time, and it says,
Gotcha.
"Keep calm and call Batman." Swear to God. Yeah. And then the next film, they keep calm and they call Batman. Jack does, his manager at the Wayne Tower, which is crazy.
Yeah. So, he goes to meet with Zod.
Yes, he does.
And then Zod, instead of being there in person, sends Feora because God forbid we go 5 minutes without a woke girl boss. And to make things worse, she goes, and we also want Lois Lane. It's like, why?
I hate that line. Oh God, I think I wrote it down. This woman,
Yeah.
to accompany him. Like it's so weird the way that she says it.
Are they reading his articles? Like, now that you know who he is, just you don't need Lois Lane.
Yeah, I mean they probably get
Other than you need her there for Superman to help her and
Well,
save her and
yeah,
get her out, which he
exactly.
doesn't even do, as Ghost Dad does.
Exactly. It's one of these things where it's like, oh, well, okay, so now like Lois and Clark are like becoming a thing, so now we always need them together to do an action
and I guess
scene.
you can do that, but it's just weird that they're like, and then he wants her, and it's like, I'm like, they're barely a love interest.
This
at
woman to accompany him. It's such a weird line the way that she says it. I hate it. It like makes my skin crawl.
And it is Feora, who is from the comics, but
Yeah.
she's acting more like Ursa.
Yes. Yeah. They should have brought her back, but like in a better way than the fucking Flash. Yeah, I know.
So then Clark sneaks her the crystal.
Yeah.
He's like, here, take this. You might need this.
Yeah, we're gonna bring back my dad, and he's gonna help us on this
Yeah.
ship, and it's gonna be cool.
Because I just assume they'll put you in a room where you can use this. I'm not
Yeah,
actually sure. And I guess they don't frisk people
this
here.
is all gonna work out. Really cool moment here, though, when they get on the ship and he's talking to Zod. What does he do?
Shit, what just happened?
Was that your computer, or was that was that the camera?
was this. Why did it cut? Frank, we're back.
Yeah.
The camera's cut. I guess Zod hacked into our cameras because I was shit talking the movie so much.
Either that, or it was Ghost Jor-El walking around.
Probably Ghost Jarrell. But yeah, for some reason, our second camera just stopped recording, even though there was room in the card.
Somebody doesn't want us to talk about this movie.
You know what? I think I know who doesn't want to. Someone heard us talking about spacemen and outer space and interstellar travel, and I feel like they felt left out, Frank. So while we were trying to see what was up with the cameras, this one made her appearance. Hello.
She jumped up and hit the button on the camera.
Yeah.
Hit cut.
Yeah.
Wow. What a lioness.
Yeah, Frank,
Lord.
the groomer told me that she needs to be sedated next time. Notice they didn't finish her tail or her legs?
You're an evil little kitty.
Yep.
Please don't claw my face. Is she nice?
Space Cat. No, she's mean. What are you talking about?
What are we doing here?
She might want to get down. Do you want to get down?
You want to get down?
You want to come back?
She said yes. Is she going to freak out if I could grab her?
Just leave her alone. Maybe she'll sit down.
Okay, this is fun. So, when he gets on the ship
Yeah.
and he's talking to Zod in the bridge,
Yeah.
what does he do? They don't say it in this film at all, but they say it in Superman 2 constantly. And what does he do?
He technically falls to his knees.
Before Zod.
Yes.
Yes, he does.
And look. This was a clever workaround for not doing straight up kryptonite. I gotta clean your eyes. Sorry. I just looked at her eyes. Yeah, so the atmosphere in the ship is like Kryptonian atmosphere.
Yes.
So you should let her down. Sorry about that. She wants to get down bad.
You're good. She just wanted to be here for my fun little fun fact that I pointed out.
Yeah. There, I just. Oh no!
Good hands.
Okay.
Thanks, Wawa.
All right. Yeah, so he does kneel, but I like that they had the Kryptonian atmosphere, so it's a way to do the kryptonite without doing kryptonite.
Yes.
Because the previous Superman movie had a continent full of kryptonite, and people are like, let's chill on kryptonite for a movie.
Yeah. He's fine. He's going to be able to lift the whole island of kryptonite. Sure.
So yeah, he like collapses. He's like, and then he spits up blood and he passes out. So yeah, he can bleed.
Oh my God, what's happening? He can bleed.
When Batman's like, can you bleed? Lois should have been like, he can actually.
Yeah,
under certain circumstances.
He shouldn't have said you will. He should have said you will again.
Yeah. Or you have.
You have before. How did that happen? Should I call Zod and turn him into a doomsday?
So he passes out, and then because this is produced by Christopher Nolan, Zod has the Inception machine and goes into his dreams. He has a device that makes him go into Superman's dreams.
Again, you kind of got to, suspend disbelief and be like, okay, there's alien.
No, it's funny. It's just
here.
like I'm like, oh, really? Like we know you produced Inception. I guess it's a clever Inception reference. So yeah, Zod Freddy Krueger's into his brain, his dream.
I mean, it's a cool sequence.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, what's up? Just want to let you know, when you went into that spaceship, you called us. He gave us a little ring.
I don't think that's what he said. But
He's like, yeah, so when Krypton blew up, it freed us from the Phantom Zone.
Yeah. So
How many other people were in the Phantom Zone?
what the actual fuck?
Something about Krypton blowing up. I guess that portal that was above Krypton
Yeah.
broke, and that opened up the Phantom Zone?
How they were in there for 15 minutes? I'll give it an hour, maybe. They were in prison for an hour.
Yeah, they really
and-
weren't in the Phantom Zone for that long. Unless time moves differently in the
Exactly.
Phantom Zone.
So, like, you think that anyone else on that planet was like, hey, maybe Lara was like, maybe I want to go to the Phantom Zone. And they were like, Lara, don't be silly. You know.
Laura knew it was coming.
that's
I'd be
for
like,
prisoners."
well, they're all probably going to kill me, but
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Like, like Zod was a friend. You know what I mean? Like the Zod and the L's, like they were friends. Like they grew up together. So it's like, you know, even if she went into the ship and lived. And
but yeah, I guess the planet
getting
blowing
crazy.
up freed them.
Yes.
So then they retroactively changed the Phantom Zone thing into a ship with the hyperdrive, and they found They started going to all the outposts where we do see like Kryptonians that were like stabbed or something, and then like a fleet of ships.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I guess they were like cut off from Krypton. They died. I'm like, what does that mean? What does cut off from Krypton mean? They didn't say, hey, come back. They just went, fuck off.
We're not sending food or water anymore. Your care packages cost way too much money.
Yeah. Well, they have a terraformer that will make it for them.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I don't know.
Did they ever end up terraforming any planets, or did they just stop? How long does it take?
Maybe they did, and the Kryptonians were still alive, but Zod and his boys and strong woman girl.
Yes,
she
please.
got, they got there and they took over those planets and killed those planets, maybe. And then stole their shit and then moved on to the next one and just went around.
They want that codex,
killing planets, looking for the codex, trying to find it, and then eventually he started.
Because that's the one thing that they're missing. They need the codex with the Genesis chamber.
I mean, he possibly, Zod maybe took out these other planets.
Yeah.
So what I love about this is when they first come in, it's Kal-El's, it's Clark's brain pretty much, right? So he's wearing a Kansas shirt. And he feels safe, and it's like okay, like this is where like Kansas is his safe spot. Yeah. So he imagines the Kent farm. He's in a cool Kansas Royals shirt because he's big baseball fan. This and that. But then the second that world engine hits and the dust blows and he has to protect himself,
he turns into Superman.
Turns into the Superman suit.
Yeah, and I actually
which is like a sign of strength.
I actually like Zod's suit. The black suit. This is the only time we see him with the cape, too. I thought it looked cool with the cape.
Yeah.
But that's not what Terrence Stamp wore, so they had to make sure he went right back to looking at that. But it's a relief after, I hate that CGI armor. It just doesn't look like it's actually on him.
Agreed.
There's worse movies today with CGI armor, Thor 4. A bunch of other movies, actually, because they couldn't decide on what the armor would look like until after the movie was shot. But it's just I like him in just the tights. He looks fine in the tights. He was in really good shape and everything. He looked fine.
Especially once he starts flying in them. And
yeah. So he reveals his plan. He's like, we're going to get the codex. I don't know where your dad hid it, but we need that codex to make all these babies. And then we're going to destroy Earth to make Krypton. Yeah. And he's like, what about all the people? And then Zod goes, hey, remember Terminator 2 with all the skulls in the wasteland? And Clark goes, how do you know what Terminator? Oh my God! He's just
don't do this.
Surrounded in skulls. All these people died, but only their skulls were left. I made fun of that. The Terminator's like, oh, it's all just a bunch of skulls. Where's the rest of their bones?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And then he slowly dissolves into a pit of skulls, and all the little kids who thought they were going to see a fun Superman movie start crying in the theater.
I mean, there's got to be a little bit of horror in an invasion story,
And then
crazy.
He wakes up and he's strapped down to a chair. And the creepy Kryptonian who's doing all the experiments to him is, you might remember him from another superhero thing. He was one of the guys in the live-action Yaira trailer.
Oh, yeah.
That's for the biggest problem in the universe and Riley and Mint Salad fans.
Oh.
That guy who's trying to make he's making comic books and they're really, really bad. Mm-hmm. He made a live-action trailer for one of his comics, and it's terrible.
Oh.
And we learned that it had unfinished effects. But that didn't stop them from making a 15-minute behind-the-scenes documentary on how they made the trailer. That was technically unfinished.
Well, I congratulate you, good sir.
But this guy was in it, and you know what? They're like, we got the guy from Man of Steel, and they went, who? They're like, The creepy Kryptonian doctor from that one scene.
Guy who does the thing.
Yeah.
Huge. He comes back for another film.
No, he doesn't.
They were gonna bring him back for another
Probably not.
5. He signed on
Instead,
to 5 films.
He got to be in a Superman movie. Now he's in the live-action Yaira trailer. But hey, look, if
Lucky
you're making
guy.
a comic book stuff and you need an actor, instead of getting the creepy Kryptonian doctor from Man of Steel, you could get the uncredited extra from Dark Knight Rises and the back of Frank's head from Penguin 2.
Penguin 2?
For a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper.
I mean, I'm pretty expensive.
Okay, well, Frank's a little bit more expensive than me.
That's probably why the Penguin only brought me on for one episode.
They're
You
like,
know what I mean?
he's just gonna overshadow the rest of the. We
Yeah.
can only show the back of his head.
There was an additional 100,000 if they wanted to show my face.
Yeah.
It's a whole
So-
thing. It's in my contract.
So
I'm cheap.
Lois plugs in the thing and it installs Ghost Dad into the ship.
Yeah. How did she know to? I mean, I guess they.
I guess she
Talked
just
about
eyeballs it. And she's
Yeah.
like, cool, I'll do that. Why did they leave her in a room? I guess they just assumed she wouldn't have that, but why even leave her in a room that has
Or
that?
maybe they knew she was going to do it, and they were like, and he was like, "I'd
Maybe.
love to talk to Jor-El again. Go ahead."
But he guides her to an escape pod and she's like shooting Kryptonians. So she kills more Kryptonians than Lex Luthor ever will in this universe.
Yeah, she's a killer here.
And then-
kind of crazy
How
that
does-
she's killing Kryptonians. You know,
What else is she going to do?
Superman's people.
They can kill her.
Okay.
How does Superman get his powers back?
The sun?
But they had like the atmosphere that was hurting him. Did Jor-El
Yeah.
do something?
Well, like he was still like woozy, yeah, but oh yeah, because he had him punch the side. Oh yeah, to the ship. So he got rid of the Kryptonian atmosphere on the ship.
That's what I assume is
Yeah.
happening because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
just gets strong.
Yep. Sorry, yeah, I forgot. Yes. He shuts everything down because then Zod and all them are like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Oh my god.
So
And then
he
was
beats
like-
up the guy and then she's shooting people. But then like they're getting stronger, the Kryptonians.
Yeah.
Because what's her face like punches a hole
Yep.
into the pod.
Move your head to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. That's kind of cool.
But yeah, then Jor-El is like talking. Yeah. So she's like falling to earth in the pod, but the pod's damaged. Technically,
Yes.
she should just melt inside the
Burning
pod
all
because
the
it's
way
burning.
down. Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
my
Superman's
God.
looking at her, and instead of just like
Yeah.
flying to grab her right away, he's just like, she's dying. He's like, you could save her. You could save all of him. And you know what, Superman? You got. And if I was Clark, I'd be like, that's nice, Dad. I got to save her. She's literally burning alive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, Dad, get over this monologue, all right? Jesus Christ, let's go.
No, I got to do a Jesus thing. And okay, you're my son. Blah 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 blah. Now put your arms out like this.
I mean, he's breathing in the sun. You look just like Jesus.
Thank you.
Yeah. and I'm 33 still, so we could both be Jesus.
Stop mentioning you're younger than me.
Have you ever told people your age? Maybe you're younger than me. Shit,
You're right. You're right.
did just say
I'm
my
just
age.
a youthful 22-year-old.
You don't look a day over 20.
Frank, I've been only allowed to drink for a year.
That's why you're so bad at it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I love
So-
that. I love that line, dude.
Yeah.
You can save her, Cal. You can save them all. And then he's like, strike that
Well,
panel.
not all of them. You can't be around there for every single thing. Like,
But he's like, strike that panel.
Yeah.
And then it goes out, and then he's like,
you can save them all unless that guy turns into a troll from Lord of the Rings.
and kills you later on.
Yeah.
Or like, you can save them all, but you don't even try to save one person when millions are dying.
Yeah.
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 I get that.
You could save them all except for like when Atlantis floods the whole eastern coast, and they're not even. There's not even a report that you're there. Anyway,
Anything. I mean, I get that. Like, I'm not oblivious. I'm not an idiot. Like, I get that. But like, it's a great film. So fucking.
So yeah, he saves Lois. He takes her out of the pod. The ship crashes.
Yeah.
And then the Kryptonians show up at Kent's farm looking for the ship, and Feora is having a little too much fun with her powers. She's like, I'm gonna jump into the barn. Whoa! It's not in there. I'm gonna jump out of the barn. Whoa! And it's like that old Superman joke. Like, wow, Superman, thanks, but you could have used the door. She's just like, I'm jumping. I get it. It's new. But if I was Zod, I'd be like, hey, just
Tone it down with the strong
let's
woman
just,
shit, all right?
Just go over there and let me know if it's a. Actually, I think they don't have their X-ray yet. Like, they're just getting their powers.
Yeah. It's like a toddler, like,
Yeah.
learning how to walk. They're like, woohoo!
And then I have it here. Here is when the movie becomes irredeemably bad. I could have maybe worked with a lot of the stuff. I wouldn't have enjoyed it, but I could have worked with it.
You nuts.
And it just loses me here. Clark tackles Zod and leaves his mom with 4 other Kryptonians who could just murder her right away.
Understood, but Zod probably told them no one touches the mom but me. That's probably what he said.
And then Superman, who's surrounded by cornfields,
Yeah.
immediately takes him to the most populated area and puts him into 2 buildings, a big silo and a gas station that's flammable and explosive that is full of people. And it's like, you couldn't fly him anywhere else. Look, I know you need destruction and stuff, but it's okay when the bad guy does it. If Zod were to be the one who knocked him through the building into the gas station, fine.
He just
The fact is, I'm sorry, endless fields for miles. He's like, where's the best place? The gas station, which I know won't kill him because I survived an oil platform blowing up earlier, and he has the same powers as me.
He just learned how to fly yesterday.
Oh my God.
In those moments of like, what, were you born yesterday? Technically, yes, he was just born
But
yesterday.
he knows explosions and this stuff won't kill him.
Yeah, but like,
So,
it's not
Take him away from people, and maybe you can punch him to death, but you got to make sure it's not around anything.
It's not his fault.
And again, it's fine when the villain brings the fight to the city and he has no choice. This one, Superman is about to cause all the problems. Meanwhile, his mom is being horribly mutilated by 4 Kryptonians. So yeah, we get to the Smallville fight, and the movie just falls to shit. What does he do here? He throws in a populated area. We get more CGI armor. Zod, like, his armor gets cracked, and he can't handle all the new senses.
Yeah, I mean, I like this sequence. I like when the helicopter comes in with the big guns and kind of, and then you get the shot of Clark getting shot in the head.
Yeah,
like, that kind of throws
and he
him back
flinches.
a little bit.
Not my Superman.
Yeah, well, that's probably a heavy caliber bullet. You know what I mean?
Not my
Probably
Superman.
big. Yeah.
Then he has to fight Feora and Giant Guy.
Pretty cool. Cool little fight sequence here.
The big guy. No, it's not cool. Big guy.
He does destroy. Half
Wait, by
of
the way.
Smallville.
By the way. Yeah. Superman goes, "Hey everyone, get inside. It's not safe. Not leave town.
I know.
Everyone run away." He goes, "Get inside." And then a plane crashes in the building that destroys all those buildings. Like, they always like, let's listen to that guy.
Yeah.
What's that? And they all just died. I'm like, Superman got all those people
Go
killed.
into these buildings that are about to explode. Yeah.
Yeah, not just everyone get out of town, get as far away from here. He's like, go inside. Oh, I hope that plane doesn't crash into. And I'm like, well, they're all dead.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's learning, I bet you the next time he gets into a fight, he's going to, tell everyone, hey, don't go near any buildings or structures that could fall on you.
And then Feora's about to take out another plane. And Superman tackles her, and he goes, where am I going to crash her? Endless fields for miles. Oh, that IHOP where my friend is working and people are eating.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Superman, stop it. Stop it, Superman.
But then you get this cool little shot of Pete, leaning over going like, oh my God, is that Clark Kent from high school?
Pete's going, why is Clark Kent throwing a woman into my store where everyone's eating?
Can he throw her into the fields? He's also another bigger side character from the comics when he has Pete as a friend.
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, he became like the president at one point in the comics as well.
So.
Like, he's done a lot of big stuff. But then all these cool little small side characters, he made them really fucking small. Yeah. There's also a cool moment of the big guy, the giant guy.
Picking up the U-Haul truck?
No, I was
in front of the Sears. Remember when he picked up the U-Haul truck in front of the Sears?
No, I don't know how I missed it. But he jumps on top of one of the fighter jets and he pops the guy's head.
Yeah.
Like, actually pops it. Like, it gets a little.
And then he would fight.
sometimes.
I keep forgetting that because the universe is dead now and because of all the reshots, canonically, big Kryptonian guy kills the Michael Keaton Batman we grew up with.
my God,
That's
yeah,
the
it
end of the
does.
Michael Keaton Batman.
Oh my God. at the
His
hands
big
of this guy.
Kryptonian guy killed him.
Again, dude, what a fucking waste that they would do
Why did
that.
Batman just run away? He couldn't kill that guy with bombs.
Yeah.
At some point, the Flash would be like, no, that's not going to kill him. Just get away from him.
Yeah, it's such a shame that they because Michael Shannon also didn't want to go back for the Flash, right? Like, wasn't he pissed or something?
He looks like his face is CGI'd the whole time, so I don't blame him.
We talked about it in that episode. Something happened that like he refused to go back, but then they paid him a lot of money, and then he was just like stiff the whole time. Like he didn't give the same emotions that he did in this film, which he really went for it in this film. And then he like swore off superhero movies after this because of the backlash that he got like for the film. So
I think he told
Snyder
that he didn't want to wear one of those gray motion capture suits. Then they made him wear a gray motion capture suit.
Yeah. But he really went for it in this film, dude, and I really appreciate it.
But here's okay. Look, shaky cam fight scenes.
Yeah.
Can be annoying, but I can work with it.
Okay.
Rubbery CGI can be annoying, but I can work with it.
Crash cuts.
The sun shining into the frame can be annoying, but I can work with it.
I like those.
All three at the same fucking time for 20 minutes. I'm like, this looks like shit.
It was like
it's shaky, rubbery, and the sun keeps flashing, and I'm like, this hurts to look at.
It was like 4 minutes.
It hurts to look at.
It was very artsy.
It looks fake as shit. That's the thing. He's doing all the college school art film defocus, and then the fight scenes is like cartoony bullshit. And I'm like, can we just have a uniform look through everything? So yeah, the fight scene is garbage. It looks like a joke. Because it doesn't match the rest of the movie. It really feels
How
like
does it not match the rest of
it feels like I'm watching the Star Wars prequels where all the talking scenes are just flat and static, and then the fighting scenes are on this overly animated thing. And I'm like, can we just have some consistency?
But then, how do you have a Superman film without those big, eventful action sequences?
No, you can. It's just the way it's shot is just so jarring compared to the rest of it because it's not being shot by the cinematographer. It's being animated by animators who have their own visual style.
Yeah, I mean that's any superhero film that you have.
This one, it's real
fights like that.
Sometimes a good one can make it blend perfectly.
Well, a little bit.
This one, not so much. And again, the shaky and the sun flashing into the frame, like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really notice it like that.
Really? How do you not notice it? It covers up all the stuff you're claiming is cool.
Because it is cool. Yeah, I mean, it's super cool because of those moments.
I have a note for Superman.
Go ahead.
Hey, Clark, you know your tiny town in like middle America?
Mm-hmm.
It needs trains to ship supplies in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to throw the big guy, could you not throw him into a bunch of trains and destroy the tracks, which will probably starve your town?
But you needed a little LexCorp logo shine.
Well, there's a bunch of those, aren't there?
They're
everywhere.
You needed that moment, to be like, hey, Lex
He's like, where am I going
Luthor's
to punch
here.
this guy? All those trains. Like, Clark, you are destroying this town. Can you please get them away?
He was scared. He didn't know how to get them away. All he knew was like, let me try and punch them as hard as I possibly can.
It's not even like I'm outnumbered. Like in 2, he's outnumbered and they're destroying the town.
He's outnumbered?
And eventually he's just like, I need to fly away. Maybe they'll chase me.
Maybe.
This one, Clark has like the upper hand because they're not as advanced as him. And he's like, I'm going to push him into that building. I hope those people don't die. It's like, stop it, Superman.
But he's also never fought before. This is the first time he's ever fighting.
So?
He's never even gotten into a fist fight before.
I would be smart enough to know, like, hey, endless fields, and then maybe I can punch him, or a train car.
Okay.
So anyway.
Yeah. Again, it's a superhero film. I had fun with it.
It's just he's not acting very Superman. And you can you can have all this destruction if the bad guys are doing it. If the bad guy punched him into the trains,
then I'd get it.
I'd be fine.
Okay.
Like the season 1 of Invincible at the end.
Yeah.
When Omni-Man is destroying everything, you notice it was the bad guy destroying all the buildings and stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, it's weird when the hero's doing it. Anyway.
The latest season of Invincible, by the way, was...
I gotta catch up on it. My friend worked on it.
Oh, dude, it's good. Really? It's amazing.
So then, Christopher Maloney falls out of a helicopter. He almost fights the lady.
Yeah.
They hit her with a rocket.
A good death brings its own reward.
Something like that.
Yes.
Something stupid.
What do you mean something stupid?
I don't know.
That last shot of him when he does the thing and the other thing, and he's like, a good death warrants its own reward. What is the fucking
trying
line?
to build up
Sorry.
I don't know why they were trying to build up a
Destroying
rivalry.
it.
I'm like, there's no physical way he could ever kill her. This fight is so one-sided.
Well, like, you know, maybe.
Well, they keep building up that there's going to be a big knife fight. I'm like, why? I know he won't win. Like, I need something else. And he
Please don't
can't
let it.
win with a knife fight, but they keep making you think there's going to be a knife fight.
One's
I'm like,
gonna come.
It's like, okay.
Oh, we're gonna do this now. Nope. No, we're not actually. Maybe he was Green Lantern, and you know, Zack Snyder was like, "Oh, we'll find out in 3 films."
No.
but we never got there.
So heroic music starts to play after Clark was thrown into the Sears and they all run away.
Yeah.
And he
Scared
looks,
them.
heroic music plays as he looks at the town he's completely destroyed forever.
It is I, Kal-El. I saved you all.
And like,
You're welcome.
Christopher Maloney says this man is not our enemy, but he should follow up with, he is an idiot though. And he should not be trusted.
This man is- yeah.
He's not actively trying to kill us, but he will kill us
That did do that,
accidentally.
Yeah, I mean, I like that shot when he's coming out of the building, and you know they have the guns drawn.
Yeah.
And, he's
And
like,
then
"This
the
man is that
Kryptonians
one."
didn't kill the mom out of spite. I would have shot her building as I was flying away.
I mean, again, their their quarrel was not with Miss Kent.
I guess, but
Yeah.
still, to show that they were serious, I would have killed her.
Well, you don't just go and kill someone's mom. That's something that Lex Luthor does.
Yeah.
Okay?
I have a question.
We're not crazy motherfuckers that want to set her on fire.
Not yet.
Which is just like how his Krypton mom died from
True,
fire.
from fire. I have a question.
Yeah.
So that cop that drops Lois off at the Kent farm and hears her scream Clark, he just doesn't tell anyone who Superman is?
Yeah, no. She had him sign an NDA before she got
I
out.
guess so.
Yes.
So Zod finds out that the Codex is in Superman. The creepy scientist, who was the guy from the live-action Yaira trailer, lets him know. He's like, does he need to be alive to get that out of him? He's like, no. He's like, oh, good. We're going to kill that fucker.
Yeah, we got this.
They released the World Engine.
Release the World Engine. Yeah, this is
stupid
dope.
name.
This is dope.
Terraform. I would call it the
A
Terraform.
Terraform engine.
Yeah, just the Terraformer.
Terraform machine.
World Engine.
Yeah, because it's
Does anyone see the keys for the World Engine? My World Engine's not starting. Does anyone have any jumper cables? I need to jump my World Engine.
Did anybody fix the oil on the world thing?
The World Engine. It's like leaking coolant. Oh, no. We got to bring it into the
What
shop.
are we calling it again? What a dumb name.
So one end goes to the Indian Ocean, and the other end goes to Metropolis, because of course it does. And it starts blasting the ground with dubstep and gravitate. I remember people, I think the Honest trailer was like, he has the power of dubstep. It's like, so yeah, it's using gravity to make the world more dense.
You
I
think
guess.
Aquaman's pissed at this point
Probably.
in the Indian Ocean?
The Aquaman and the Amazonians, they're all pissed. Not enough to interfere, but they're all pissed.
Enough to maybe have them battle, and then we're in a crisis.
Really,
of
the
infinite
Amazonians should have
Earths.
been like, oh, that's going to affect us too. Should we do something?
Yeah, maybe.
We can't enter the world of man. I'm like, I think we can when the whole planet's going to fucking...
Does anyone want to step up and help here?
All of Atlantis should be like, mobilize right now.
Maybe we should help destroy this world engine in our ocean. That would help.
I have a question. If they turn the atmosphere into Krypton, will the yellow sun still give them powers? Will they have... Seems like they could just exist on the planet without.
Yeah, I mean, because there's still the yellow sun there, right?
So they can live on the planet and have more powers. Why even make it Krypton? Unless he's just genetically, that's what he has to do. He is
That's just
so conditioned he can't get out of the conditioning.
That's his job. He is, he
Yeah.
fights for Krypton. He's a
He's
warrior.
like, I have
for
to. There has
Krypton.
to be a Krypton for me to
Yeah.
defend, so I must make a Krypton. I guess you can argue that. but-
Maybe when they terraform, it puts like a haze in the sky as well that kind of blocks out that sun's power as much.
I don't know.
Or maybe he goes up there and turns the sun red.
Maybe he shoots the laser into the sun.
Just a pew, pew, pew.
Also, we get the origin of the Superman name.
Colonel Hardy's on his way in and he's got Superman in tow.
Superman?
That's the origin of the name.
He's a Superman.
So stupid.
I just don't think Zack Snyder cared by this point.
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah, sure, fucking.
Well, I
do
mean,
it.
this is literally the end. By the way,
I just want crash cuts and
by
sun
the way,
flares.
this is literally the end of Transformers 3: Dark of the Moon. Big fight in the city. They're bringing Cybertron there, so there's some kind of laser that's making a new planet. They tweaked it a little bit. Hey, Dark of the Moon made a shit ton of money. I probably would rip it off too.
Let's do
and
that again.
Superman's about to fight a Decepticon. So the plan is to drop Clark's ship with the hyperdrive
Mm-hmm.
onto the world, the Kryptonian ship, which would cause a singularity, a black hole. And I'd be like, sorry, I have questions. Will the black hole disappear after a second, or will it just keep expanding?
Will all of Earth be sucked into this black hole? But yeah, no, I totally get
He's
that.
like, no, it's
Great.
fine. We're gonna put a black hole, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll trust you.
We're all going to risk our lives. And hey, let's throw Lois Lane up on that ship too, just so that she can risk her life to do nothing to help us while we're there.
Yeah. And then Clark's like, I'm going to go to the Indian Ocean and fight the machine. And she's just like, well, if it's like the powers of Krypton, won't you be weakened? So I guess they would be weakened even with the yellow sun.
Because it's beginning to terraform. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, but I guess, I mean, he is right in the mix of it to where like all of this Krypton energy is being, like thrown down to maybe once it's over, it'll be half and half with the sun. But like,
then he's just like, yeah, you know what? I gotta try. And then Zod, while all this is going on, he's like, oh, I gotta go pick up that ship because of the Genesis chamber. I'm like, well, I would have done that before you turned the engine on.
I should have started with that.
Why don't?
Yeah,
can you send someone else to get it? He's like, I have to talk to an old friend. I'm like, now's not the time to do any of this.
Well, he wants to go talk to Jor-El.
Do it later.
But like,
gloat in front of him.
You can't have your evil mustache twirling fucking villain moment, dude.
so.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so I'm just like, wow, you really played. Were you even a good general? You played this very poorly.
he's doing it on the fly. He didn't know that he was about to meet, Kal-El, and
But he
have to
needs
do
the
all
Genesis chamber because when they get the Codex, they're gonna make some Kryptonians.
Yeah, they are.
Zod argues with Ghost Dad.
They're gonna make some babies.
Yeah, Zod argues with Ghost Dad while Superman fights a Transformer.
Well,
what do you know? The World Engine just conveniently has a Decepticon tentacle because Transformers 3 had that big snake. This isn't quite the big snake.
I get it. It's very, Brainiac-esque, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so he fights a Transformer for a fight that goes on forever.
I love that scene when they're
Transformer?
going through it. So I love the when they cut back to it, and it's his hands just now coming up out of it, and just the way that it's shot, and he cares so much, and he's like, "Oh God, I'm gonna save the world."
When he breaks that's fine. It's the tentacle fight was so stupid. I'm
yeah,
like,
the tentacle fight's a
little
little crazy, but I mean, it's that type of technology, the face stuff that you like from that one store. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like a weak thing. It just seemed like a dumb thing to throw in late in the movie. It's like, we had a World Engine. It comes with the Transformer.
They needed him to fight something else, and they didn't have any monsters, and they were like, all right, throw this in there.
So, so he fights that. Perry and Steve, they're running from a building being destroyed.
Well, yeah. First, he was like, he saw the explosions, and then he was like, all right, everyone, we're leaving the building now. And it's like, shouldn't we have left?
I would have left. When that thing started floating over the city, I'd be like, everyone leaving.
A while ago, yeah. That was, I love that they.
But yeah, so he he goes to leave, and he makes sure Jenny's alive to make sure she's, around for the sequels. And then we get the final farewell of Ghost Dad. Zod's had enough of his shit. He's gloated. He's like, all right, goodbye. Gets rid of Ghost Dad.
It is sad, isn't it?
And then Superman keeps fighting the Transformer. It throws him into the beam.
Yeah.
And then he uses all of his strength and makes a constipated face and destroys the Transformer. I hate people who are like, did you see that he turns into Christopher Reeve for a second as a reference? Have you seen that?
What?
People said his face turns into Christopher Reeve as an homage. I'm like,
what does that mean? Like they dubbed over his face?
No, they think his face for a second when the beam is hitting him. Like, no, I just think it's a warp effect, and you guys are just seeing what you want to see.
I've never heard that.
It was a weird rumor that was going around. I'm like, no.
Huh. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
about? The amount of research I've done on this film, and I've never.
It was like a thing that was short. Up until a few years ago, I heard idiots still saying that. I'm like,
I mean, Henry Cavill killed it with that scene. Like, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. I love the whole scene. Whoa, dude! Did you just shift into Christopher Reeve?
I did.
That was holy. How did you do that?
So yeah, he destroys the Transformer. Yeah. Megatron's upset about it
in a beautiful way.
Yes, and then
cried.
he.
I teared a little bit.
You teared when he fought the Decepticon?
Well, when he destroyed it and the beam, when he's doing the thing with the beam and and I can save them all. You know what I mean?
Did you cry in Transformers 3 when Shia LaBeouf kicked Patrick Dempsey into the laser and saved Earth?
No, but I cry a lot watching Shia LaBeouf. He's wonderful. He's great.
Superman sunbathes his hand. That'll get his powers back.
Fucking, that's, like, oh, God. Man, I like those that type of imagery with Superman.
That's
when
like
the
people are
sun's
like,
coming
wow,
up.
there's so many good shots in this. I'm like, yeah, there's a few, but then most of the movie is shaky CGI garbage.
Yeah, but
People on Twitter, they always cherry pick certain shots,
But
and I
that's
hate
a
the
great
Snyder.
shot.
I hate the Snyder was the blueprint. I'm like, you're adapting superhero stuff. They're based off comics, which all have similar imagery. They're all gonna look the same.
Exactly.
Like, fuck off.
It's
with
been done before Snyder did it. Like the way that they punch and all that, I like that's been done before. But I love
the technology
way that
for
they
film.
do
They
it.
weren't able to do it earlier. That's why you
Yeah.
think he invented all this. I'm like, yeah, but that was always going to happen as technology.
I love the way that with the camera when it follows the arm in for the punch, and and then it flies out and comes back and all
That's
that.
all right.
Like I think
Again, if
I
like,
like
that
the
was a
fighting
fun,
style.
shaky, whatever scene, if it wasn't
Yeah.
surrounded by 10,000 other shots that are like,
Yeah. But
again, good moments is they overdo it. That's my whole problem with this third act.
Yeah.
They're trying way too hard and overdoing everything. And it's like, oh my God, it's just exhausting and nauseating.
I mean, they could have taken down less buildings.
Yeah, oh God.
That's
Oh my God, we're
the
almost
only-
there.
The only thing that
Uh,
I would kind of say, but
So,
yeah, I mean, if what's the saying? If you seek his memorial, look around you.
oh my God, shut up. Save that for the next one.
Look around you.
Save it for the next one.
If you seek his, oh God, this is gonna fuck me
Don't
up.
worry.
Now
Don't
I'm
worry about
pissed.
it. Don't worry about
I
it.
know this quote. If you seek his
Monument.
if you seek his monument, simply look around you. That's what it is.
So the
I think,
Kryptons.
or just prove me wrong in the comments. My apologies. Go ahead.
So Lois tries to use the crystal in the machine, but it's broken. It's not going all the way in, and they're trying to figure out what happens. The Kryptonians target their aircraft. Emil realizes it needs to be like rotated.
Yeah,
A little
he's
bit.
looking at it like, oh, this is weird. Also,
Yeah.
didn't Feora rip that open when they were at the farm, the front of that?
It has
ship?
a shell. The shell's already ripped open, but
Okay.
there's an inner part too.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought she like ripped the whole thing open, and then all of a sudden it was like back.
Yeah,
to
or they
normal.
just closed it
Yeah, or
again.
they
I
just
don't know.
Closed it again, maybe.
So yeah, that's the problem. Like it takes them forever to start the engine because it won't go in.
Yeah.
So
Been
the
there.
aircraft is being attacked. They're fighting inside the aircraft. Superman then goes into the Kryptonian ship that Zod is piloting, and it's over water, Frank. And then he's like, "Let me make Krypton." Then he thinks about it for a second while it's over water, and then Superman waits until it's right on top of the city, and then lasers the thing and crashes it. Frank, why did he even bother going into it? Why didn't he just laser it
From the outside.
from the outside? Why didn't
Yeah.
he just push it into the water?
He just wanted to know what Zod was up to. What are you doing in there, buddy? Haha, let's go
I'm just like,
see."
you had so much time to stop this.
Yeah,
Like,
to not have it crash through all of the
again, I would have had it
buildings
where like
all the way through.
If you're gonna do it, have it enter where it's already
I
over the
know.
city and he has no choice. But it's like, no, it was over water.
I know. It's
And then this was hard to watch. I'm like, I don't know if we needed so much 9/11 imagery in Superman. A crash that Superman causes. I'm like, I don't want Superman doing the 9/11 stuff.
down buildings.
It's uncomfortable to watch.
I guess so, but you know what? The first 5 minutes of BVS are really
Oh
cool.
my God.
Really cool. It's literally like, have you seen the videos where it's like side by side?
Yeah, I've
it's
seen it.
awesome. Like it's fucking awesome.
So Superman kills everybody.
Oh my God, he does.
So he murders everyone. He's probably killed more people than the Kryptonians at this
Not
point.
by his hand though.
No, by his hand. He had so much time to
But
destroy
like
that ship.
he's not going over and popping heads and going, "Oh, you're dead. Oh my God, like I'm an evil Superman."
Oh, it's okay when you can't see them, I guess. That's
Technically,
yeah, it's probably you know,
yeah.
that's probably how whatchamacallit felt after Nagasaki and whatnot. It's like, well, I didn't see it. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer is like having a meltdown. You can watch Oppenheimer
Oh my
again.
God, I killed a lot of people. Yeah, maybe.
So yeah.
He's.
Oh, by the way,
he's
there's
emotional.
a really out of place Wilhelm scream here. It just seems
I
so
know,
bizarre. I'm
I
like,
know.
I'm
It's
like,
not
this
out of
movie
place.
takes itself so seriously that putting a Wilhelm scream just seems odd.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a big superhero
Um,
film, and he gets thrown out of the plane,
yeah.
so he's like, ah.
Feora attacks the ship.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And again, I feel like why is she fist fighting it? Why is she even on the ship? Just punch a hole through the ship or
just
knock
take
it
it
out
out.
of the air.
Yeah.
Why is she on the actual
Because
ship
she's a
wanting to fist fight people?
because she's a warrior made of honor and respect, and she wants to look you in your eyes when she kills you.
So
Come on.
stupid.
She didn't.
Um,
She probably didn't kill
Yeah.
Martha Kent when she had the chance because the cameras weren't around to see it.
I
You know?
guess so.
She wanted everyone to see it.
So they They fire up the reactor, the hyperdrive, and Maloney crashes it into the ship, and Emil Hamilton dies.
Because good death warrants respect. What was it?
I couldn't believe they killed Hamilton. I'm like, why even introduce the character?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of things in this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just already start with a dead Robin, which
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all die. They all get sucked in the portal, and this black hole is sucking everything up except for Lois Lane for some reason.
Because she's just out of that.
No, she's not, because it starts pulling stuff from the ground. I'm like, I know the script needs her to be alive, but
also gets pulled in.
yeah, Superman's face starts peeling. I'm like, how is she?
Why didn't she get sucked?
Is it only sucking in Kryptonian stuff?
And he's flying pretty fast. He's trying to fly pretty hard.
Makes no
and
sense.
She kept falling.
It makes no sense. I'm like, what? Did you guys write yourself into a corner?
I just love that she fell out of it. I
Yeah.
love that she fell out of the plane, nick of time, just got out of it, and everyone else died, which is horrible.
And again, the light is blaring into the lens. I'm like, stop.
I didn't notice it here, but you get a really cool crash cut, as you call it, where Lois Lane's falling through the sky and Superman sees her and he's like, oh my God, there's my Lois Lane.
So yeah, then they make out over Ground Zero and make a joke about relationships. I'm like, not the time.
The joke here is atrocious.
They say that it all goes downhill after the first kiss. I'm like, not the time to do this.
Pretty sure it doesn't count if you're an alien. Oh God, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it is, by the way, the image of Jenny going, he saved us. And then it's just a desolate. I'm like, did he? It's hard to believe this is all cleaned up after in Batman v Superman. This is all cleaned up.
Well, yeah, I mean, time passes.
Not that much time.
I mean, enough to build.
It would be taking a really long time to fill in that crater.
Yeah, I guess. There's when they show the shots of like civilians around the city during like just this whole sequence.
Oh my God.
No one's like really overly like shocked or complaining or like scared.
How are people
like,
even still in the city
there's-
after seeing all that?
There's so many people like people still like tons of buildings have already fallen to the ground, and there's people just now getting out of their car or like walking out of their business slowly next to a big skyscraper still, and just looking around and like just like straight faced, like an alien's fighting in my city at the moment. Like it's like
so dumb.
Run.
Zod's there. He kills the moment because he's sad.
No. Well, because
He's like, oh, everything's ruined. Now I have nothing left. I'm going to beat you up now.
yeah.
So they start beating each other up. Zod uses his heat vision for the first time.
They don't, he's got a great little, dialogue here.
I
Where
guess
he's
so.
Like, where did you train? On a farm.
On a farm!
It's a great one. He's mastered his skills. He's honed it. And then while his armor's coming off piece by piece and floating around him, and then he slowly fucking lifts up. The look on Clark's face here, on
When he
Cavill's
realizes
face,
he's
dude.
fucked, it's
yeah,
okay.
it's really cool. It's a really cool fucking
So they
moment.
start fighting and beating each other up, and then
And then he throws the steel at him, and as he goes to swing it, he fucking heat visions it and shrinks it so he doesn't get hit in the face. That's a cool moment. But then he ends up.
You know what's not a cool moment?
What?
When there's a fully loaded parking garage and we see a million people around, and then Zod throws an oil tanker and Superman jumps over it and lets it blow up a building, killing so many people. I'm like, you're not even going to attempt to put your arms out and stop it? You're just going to let it blow up everyone behind you? Oh, it gets worse, Frank. Superman is up in the air, right?
Maybe a little bit less destruction.
Frank.
A little
Superman's in the air, right? And Zod starts because he hasn't really figured the flying thing out too much.
Yeah.
He starts climbing the building,
Which is
going to
kinda
get
cool.
Superman.
Yeah.
Destroying the building. Superman should be like, you know what? Let me go higher.
Oh,
So he chases me. No, Superman doesn't do that. Superman goes, you know what? Let me get really. By the way, the lights are still on in the building. There's people on the ground. He's like, let me just crash and cause a sonic boom that kills everyone in this building and everyone down below. Just murders all of them.
It
Like,
looks really cool though.
again, the fact that Superman is the causing. Again, if Zod was coming down and Superman was coming up to like, oh, maybe I can push him away, and then that happened, fine.
Yeah.
But the fact is, Superman is causing all of this.
But during like these cool little moments, you get like that funny moment to where when the steel thing happens and he hits him.
Oh, and it goes from
hits him
306
back.
to
It's
0
a
days.
zero, yeah, you get a little comedy in there.
Not the time. Again, the movie has not been comical. The movie's barely been comical.
It's also like a blink and you miss it type.
And
of
they're
thing.
throwing in like weird jokes here and there, like toward the end. And I'm like, did you guys try to spice this up in post and reshoots? This is not working.
It's a little rough, but
They make it to space.
I like this fight.
I'm just like, this is horrifying.
They make it to space on a Wayne satellite,
Wayne
which
satellite,
is always
and
cool.
it looked like the W logo from the Nolan universe.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think they reused it for that,
Yeah.
but then they ended up changing.
So then he
got
destroys.
me hype as fuck. I was like, oh, dude, Batman's coming.
So they destroy the satellite, and then that crashes to Earth and kills 10,000 more people. Rains hell on the
It
citizens.
really does rain fucking hell. What are the chances of it landing back in Metropolis? Why not? How did it not fucking land over an ocean?
I don't know, but they land in like a station,
Yeah.
and Superman gets him in the headlock, and Superman's like, I'm gonna laser that, or Zod's like, I'm gonna laser that family, and Superman doesn't go, wait, why don't I just put my arm over your hand?
If you care for them so much, then you'll mourn for them.
Why doesn't he just cover his head with his arm? Why does he aim his head up in the air? Why doesn't he just fly him back to space?
Well, I keep knocking this. He tries. He tries to move him. He tries to
Maybe.
stop him. Like there's like he doesn't want to shift too much or get crazy, but like he does, like he is struggling with him and trying
The
to
problem with
get
this
him.
is like, Superman, you have killed so many Metropolis people. Like, who cares about this family?
well-
You killed way more people a
Well,
second
no,
ago.
not who cares about the family. I mean, I guess taking Zod's death so hard, but also he's the last Kryptonian that he knows. The
Well,
other
yeah.
Kryptonians are dead. Now it's just him and this guy. So like in his mind, he's like, I have to totally, get rid of this, my Kryptonian heritage
Which he already
altogether.
did 20 minutes ago. He said Krypton had its chance.
Yeah, agreed. But like, still, like in his head, like it's a whole mental thing of like, a push and pull. Like, am I like him killing him? Pretty much is him saying like, I am now from Earth. I am a human. I am here.
I guess so. And there was a lot of bait shit because he was supposed to get just sucked into the Phantom Zone thing.
Yeah.
Probably would have worked better.
But they were like, no, fuck it, let's have him.
And they had to like ask DC, and then they had to convince Nolan. And to Nolan's credit,
It's crazy.
he did let them, as a producer, he let them have a lot of creative freedom. He didn't really, maybe he should have pushed back and been like, no, you're fucking this up and don't do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much Nolan likes Superman, probably. Maybe that's why he liked this script, because he's not a Superman guy. I don't know. Although I know he likes the original movies, but outside of that, I know Jonathan Nolan likes Superman because he ended up writing some of the comics.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kills Zod. And this scene was recreated perfectly in the Superman 64 Returns episode of Angry Video Game Nerd. We did it at the end.
Yeah.
We did it where he has the cartridge, and the cartridge is about to it's about to laser all these like really good games. He's like, no. And then Superman cries because he's a woman, and then
I cry at this every time I watch it.
oh god.
Dude, this moment is like so like, I don't know, like I suspend my beliefs here and just, enjoy the movie for what
I'm
it
just
is.
thrilled because the
and-
fucking thing's done. I'm like, oh god.
God, I sat through that. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I really like this moment here, and then Lois Lane comes down. And
I can
ruins
see
it
it working in a
bit,
better
but-
film. I get every like good thing in this. I'm like, I get that those are good things. I just wish
Yeah.
they were surrounded in a better film.
I think Cavill just plays this role so well. I mean, yes,
Could have.
They should have given him more to say and do and be a little bit.
Should have made him a
of
character
a
instead. There's
brighter
just like people
fucking-
talking about him most of these movies.
Exactly, a brighter Superman. Also, there's this moment when he's begging, when he has Zod in the headlock and he's begging him to stop. Then Zod has this little line, and he's like, it's like his mouth's full of marbles, and he's like, never. But it's like, every time I hear it, it sounds so fucking dumb. Never.
But yeah, so he cries, and then he's on his knees, and they make sure Lois is standing above him to emasculate him.
To be there,
'Cause- yeah, because Zack Snyder just wants to make men look weak.
I'm like, wait a minute. So every building that they've flown into, they've literally toppled to the fucking ground, and she decides, oh, they just flew into that building. I should run in and make sure he's okay.
How did
fighting
she
this
not die
fucking
from all
god.
that shit that we were doing?
Exactly. Like, what?
So then,
Yeah, it's crazy.
so then after this, he wastes our tax dollars and destroys a drone.
Just $10 million.
Yeah, and then he tells the general, he's like, chill, I'm on your side. And the general should be like, you killed so many people.
But the girl's like, He's so hot.
That was what the fuck was that? They put that in some of the teasers.
I know, dude. I know.
I don't know if that was like after Avengers did well, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we got to add some jokes into
Definitely.
this."
That had to be like a
That had to
reshoot.
be like because Dark Knight Rises did well, but Avengers did really well, and I could see
Yeah.
them be like, "Well, we got to add one-liners, jokes."
Get in the car, soldier.
But like, we already shot the movie. Add a couple scenes. Add a couple scenes.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's yeah. I like the whole thing of like, you're not gonna find where I hang my cape type of thing. He's like,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have to.
And that general, he's very worried. He doesn't like these aliens on Earth. He's so not the Martian.
He's the
Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter.
He's so not the
He's
Martian.
got to play
Manhunter.
it off a little bit to like not lead anybody on.
So not the Martian.
Because what if he was like, oh yeah, like it's totally cool. You could, we trust you, whatever. Then Clark's
Clark's
probably
probably
gonna be
they
like,
read too many fan theories and tried to make it work. But if you watch this movie, you're like, no.
that's John Jones. John Jones. I
Bullshit.
know that's him. I
Martian Manhunter does ruin a really good scene in Justice League with
Yeah.
Martha and
Yeah.
them. It's completely ruined when you find out it's a Martian Manhunter.
and it was a reshoot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know.
And it's like you couldn't work him into any other fucking scene. You had to ruin that actual good
Good
moment.
one. Yeah, I know.
That was so stupid. Anyway,
I do know. But they, I like this moment where the last thing Clark says is like, I guess I'll just have to, or I guess I'll just have to trust you.
yeah,
To where it's like, he's saying it both ways. Like,
Yeah.
well, trust me and I'll trust you, and
Yeah.
and don't try and find out what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. And then she's like, he's so hot.
let me get a flashback
So-
while he's talking to his mom. We get a flashback to him playing as a kid with a cape.
No tear to your eye with this.
No, I liked it in the trailer. I'm like, oh, that's probably gonna be a good scene. And then when I saw the movie, I'm like, oh my god, is it done?
Also, like, he doesn't know anything about his people wearing capes until he's 33, but he's like 8 here and has a red cape on
People wear capes.
just to
There's
be a hero. So
heroic people wearing
Yeah.
capes existed
Oh yeah,
before.
no, I get it.
Superman.
I don't have a problem with it,
Yeah.
but I just know that's a nitpick that I wanted to act like I was on your side about, but I'm fucking not, because I love.
Maybe you
this
saw a
movie.
wresler wear a cape. You wanted to look like a wrestler.
Maybe. He
I mean,
did.
the Superman tights, the tights from that stuff comes from like Carnival Strongmen anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
I love this little sequence with Jonathan Kent watching on, and it's like he did know, because the whole thing was that
he looks at how heroic his son could be, and he's like, he better just let a whole bunch of kids drown one day.
I don't think this punk could take on a tornado. But like the whole theme with Jonathan Kent is like he wasn't there to let him see him become a hero. He doesn't know how it would go, how the world would react. And like, yes, a lot of people died, but like the world didn't react the way that
Yeah.
Jonathan thought he would. But he was there to see that he was a hero. He
Yeah.
knew that he was always going to be a hero because he was raised by very good people.
Well, not Kent, maybe Martha. Kent was Jonathan was pretty terrible. So
He raised them.
his mom's like, "What are you gonna do?" He's like, "I'm gonna have to get a new job. That'll give me a reason to be at dangerous places.
Keep my ear to the ground.
I'm just gonna walk in and become a reporter." I'm
That's
like,
it.
did you go to school for this? But you know what? That was my criticism at the time. But knowing how reporting and journalism is
Yeah.
these days, fucking anyone can do it.
She banged he banged the head reporter. She got him in.
She worked it. She
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah. She was like, hey, I know this guy. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Big dick. Love him. Bring him in.
So you just walk into any newspaper and be like, I'm the reporter now.
Yeah. I mean, he does have on his resume that he worked for the government
Yeah. I guess
for
so.
like 2 days carrying bags.
Yeah.
So
And then he's like, oh, I gotta put my glasses
it's
on.
kind of cool.
You really, and that's another issue. Like, you kind of really miss the whole, like, I kind of need the Clark Kent disguise stuff for this to work for me. We don't get that
No, you don't get
because
it.
of Superman starts. But also we don't get like the I'm fine Lois knowing who he is most of the time. I talked about it recently in like the one trailer.
Yeah.
In our lifetime, like comics wise, most of the comics we read, she's already known he's
Yes.
Superman.
Yeah.
So a lot of the whole like, oh, is he Superman? Is like earlier comics.
I like her knowing
I would like a little period of time where she does it.
beforehand.
The fact that now they're like making it so fast, she knows
Yeah.
who he is right away.
This one, it looks
that
like
I don't like.
the
I
new
like
one.
that there's a little because there's cute moments in the comics where he's like, "Well, it tricked you." She's like, "Nah, I guess
Yeah.
it did."
And then he's got to kiss her and wipe her memory.
Not
Got
so
her
much
again.
No, I think there was a comic when he had that kid, and he's like, "We'll put glasses on him." He's like, "That'll trick him." And he's like, "Trick you." And also, since then, there's so many other ways he can show that he's not Superman. Like there's the robots, there's Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
I get the criticism early, but it's like if you read enough comics, there's so many ways he fakes. There's so many times Clark and Superman have been together.
I've been in the same room. Yeah. I mean, and I agree with that. It looks like the new films, they're not giving it any time. It looks like they're jumping right in, and Lois already knows, unless there's flashbacks of it. But
that'd be fun if they showed
it looks like
flashback.
she knows.
But she welcomes him to the planet.
Is that what she meant there? I didn't know what she meant there, Tony.
It's a double meaning.
Welcome to the planet. Now I get it now.
Someone should have went, you mean Daily Planet? And she's like, yeah, I'm doing other things.
He's not an alien, is he?
Here's one thing.
Hey, that new guy, he's not Superman, is he?
One thing I've been failing to mention.
Yeah.
I really like Hans Zimmer's score.
Beautiful.
I remember listening to the trailer. I remember listening like, wow, that's going to be a real powerful score. I hope it's not accompanied by the shakiest CGI fight scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to, shake your head while you're watching. It'll settle.
Oh, you know, I should put a stabilizer on the movie.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
I'll use AI to stabilize the movie so I can see what's happening.
I mean, his score with everything, it just makes it beautiful.
And then he had to make I felt bad when he had to make a new Batman score in the next film. It's like, what? I just did 3 of these. Yeah, but this is different Batman. Fuck.
Kills
So
it,
yeah,
though.
the movie's done.
Also, the Lex Luthor theme in the next one is the Superman theme reversed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Talk about a movie I really don't want to
Pretty
revisit.
cool shit. Or like I think reversed and like fucked
Here's
us a little bit.
here's
but
what I
still
can say
like that.
about Man of Steel. It's not as bad as the next one.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as some of the other ones that came afterwards.
I mean, did you ever watch the Ultimate Cut?
yeah, it fixes some plot holes, but it's still a piece of shit.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it makes it a little bit better, but like, yeah, I mean, people know my thoughts on.
But
these
fixing the
films.
plot holes, it's like you could have just written the movie better.
Yeah, I mean,
Here's the thing. This movie did birth some things that I liked. I liked the Wonder Woman movie.
Birth, as in Superman starts.
I liked the Wonder Woman movie.
Vaginas and penises.
I liked Aquaman. I liked Shazam.
I like the first Shazam.
I like some of the stuff that's spun off of this universe, but I really don't like this movie. I still can't stand it. I really don't like revisiting it.
Because of the deaths?
Yeah, well, the slow pacing, he's not enough of a character.
Slow pacing?
It's
This
just dull.
moves pretty quick.
We don't really get, he doesn't have enough dialogue. We don't really get to know his personality and shit. It's just people talking about him.
Yeah.
It's not like Christian Bale in Batman Begins where we really get to know him. Yeah, it's just dull. It's shit we've seen before in Superman movies, just flashier.
I guess you're right. Yeah, I don't know.
And then the whole ending is just a fucking Michael Bay movie, but worse.
I mean, it all builds to this one moment. The whole movie is about him, getting himself, like, letting the world know that he's there and he's alive.
I don't
And
know,
he's there
it just
to
feels
help.
like a Superman movie made by a guy who doesn't care about Superman.
Can he
or
trust
like
Earth?
Superman.
Can Earth trust him? That whole first half is building up to how he was raised, the morals that he was raised on by Jor-El and who he was.
And
as
so
a
then
human.
he decides he does love Earth, and then he kills 1 million people.
The blood that, like it's already in his blood from Jor-El, and then the way that he was raised by Jonathan while he was still scared, but he was trying to make sure that he was a good man when he grows up and becomes this big hero. And he didn't mean to kill all those people.
No, he didn't have to headbutt Zod right there in front of a building and cause a big shockwave. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to throw Feora into the IHOP. He didn't have to throw Zod into an active gas station.
He didn't know that's what was going to happen.
He didn't know that gas is flammable. He's not. What do you think he is? Brain dead? He's not a child.
He just thought that, like in the oil rig place, that everyone else is okay with fire too, because he is. And it's fine. It's all fine.
Still can't stand it. And the thing that really bothers me is like all the pieces were kind of there. Great cast, a writer who did a good job with a different superhero. It's like,
great cast.
I'm like, they were all there. And you got the opposite reaction out of me where I went, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't understand. If it was anyone else, but I'm like, you had enough of the right people. How did you not
It's a great
get
cast.
this right?
Yeah. great cast, put it all together really well. I love,
And it really is trying to feel like the Nolan trilogy. And it doesn't even
To a
really
degree.
feel like Zack Snyder, really.
I,
and-
well, no, I mean,
And again, it did birth a generation of terrible fans.
Well, I mean, it's just people.
Not you.
cared.
I mean, like
I'm
the
a little more
Snyder troll
understanding.
guys. Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, there's people out there that just, want to be assholes just because
You know what
they're
the
like,
funny thing is?
if I can't get my Snyderverse, then no one can get anything.
You know what's funny? They
Like, it's
all
like, fuck
praise
off.
him, and he's literally done nothing good since. Army of the Dead was garbage. No one watched the spinoff. No one liked Rebel Moon. The Snyder fans pretend to like his movies when they come out, and then after a month, they go right back to just these 3 movies.
The Rebel Moon series is rough.
They never defend those movies long term. They do it for a week and be like, "See, Warner Brothers stupid, should bring them back," and then they go right back to finish Justice
Bring
League. I'm
back
like, why don't
Cavill.
you try to make this new Rebel Moon take off? It got shit reviews. Maybe more you guys should have been more
Yeah.
loyal. But I didn't watch Rebel Moon.
No?
I watched Army of the Dead and went, "Fuck no."
So like, I didn't mind the Army of the Dead, not the spinoff, but the regular Army of the Dead. Like, I kind of had fun with it because I was like, oh, like, this is like whatever
I was-
popcorn zombie.
I was
film.
hoping that'd be the one to bring me back
There
because
was
I
a
love
lot.
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
And then he set up for sequels and shit in that too with the robot zombie. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, just make one good fucking movie.
There was a lot of shit in that film where you're like, wait a minute.
And just
So
make,
are they zombies? Are they robots?
and just make a movie. Don't
Hey,
make a
Egyptian?
don't go into this thinking you're making a franchise. Just tell a story.
Yeah.
Stop sequel baiting. I heard
Why
he,
was
like,
there a spaceship?
And then I heard like he did like this director's cut for Rebel Moon where it's just the same scenes, just different takes, but it's the same. I'm like, what are you doing?
Huh. Yeah.
Netflix has got to be like,
yeah.
what the fuck are you doing?
I think I watched. Did I watch the director's cut? I might have watched the director's cut as well. 'cause
Why
I was
even
like,
make a PG-13 movie? It's
Yeah.
directed Netflix.
I was like, why? Like, this has to get better with the director's cut.
I heard
So
it's
watched
mostly
that.
slow motion
It's
and
the same. It's the it's extended scenes.
But yeah, he's done nothing really good afterwards.
Yeah, that's why Man of Steel is probably his best film.
out of these 3, not his best film. Dawn of the Dead is his best film.
Best film ever.
No,
of all
Dawn of the
time.
Dead and 300 are so much better than this.
I would say so much, but yes, I agree.
No, they are miles better. I will watch 300 till the day I die. I love Dawn of the Dead
it's-
remake.
yeah,
I
it's
like the
wonderful.
original more, but
It's
it's a solid remake.
It's very good.
But yeah, so you still love the movie.
So I do still love this movie. I will always love this movie. I'm very open to new iterations, and I'm very excited to just get a DC universe that will last. That will give me some kind of future stories that we'll get to and we'll see. Like having to end on where Justice League ended and teasing Darkseid and this whole war and everything, and then not being able to see it is like it's so upsetting because as a fan, like all you want to do is see these things in live action and grow with them and you get so jealous from Marvel to where it's like they crushed it with their characters and what people grew up on, and that's awesome. And I enjoy those films, but I wasn't a Marvel kid.
Yeah.
I'm a
No, I
fucking
felt like
DC
you. I
kid.
was just like, I wanted a DC universe and I didn't get it. I got some good things.
But like originally when they were making these films, the whole thing that was being preached by the people making these was that eventually Darkseid comes down and takes over Superman, and then Barry has to go back in time, and eventually he goes back in time.
I hate it was doing the evil Superman shit.
And when he goes back in time, he kind of fixes everything that needed to be fixed, and then you get this bright Superman, and supposedly they were going to change the world after his 5-picture thing, the Man of Steel, BVS, and then the 3 Justice Leagues.
But they, unfortunately, all 3 underperformed.
Yeah. So then after those 5 films, then he would have kind of soft rebooted to where now you have this different kind of feel to where you can have the same actors but like give them a different tone of their character. Batman doesn't kill. Superman is brighter and happier and joyful.
Yeah.
But it's like, why give me the Elseworlds first?
Yeah. It's so stupid.
And then eventually we'll get to that brighter stuff.
just give
that
it to
you
us
like.
right away and then show us the
know.
subversion later.
Yeah, but that's what got me. So I went around to everyone who hated these films, and I would
Like me.
That's what I would preach, and I would say, no, but don't worry, we're gonna get 3 Justice League films, and then at the end, then you're gonna get your bright Superman. And it's like he didn't want to do what Marvel did and start from the beginning and go. He's showing us the end first, and he's gonna end the DC universe.
That might have
and
not
then we
all
go
been
back in
him. That might have
time.
been Warner Brothers saying we need to catch up.
Agreed.
We need to catch up.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So it's like, to be rushed through that. He lost his daughter in the filming of Justice League, which is completely horrible. And then everything just, Joss Whedon came in and it kind of just went to shit through the studios.
Although people like Joss Whedon ruined it. I'm like, how do you squeeze that to 2 hours? How do you squeeze that entire movie at planned? There's no way to fix it, really.
Well, then he also did a ton of reshoots on top of it. So it's like, well, what are we doing?
Well,
here?
you can't just chop it down. Like, eventually you need to add stuff to make it flow better. I mean,
make
it's a
funny
mess.
jokes and have Barry put his head in Wonder Woman's tits. Yeah, I
we
get
needed
it.
that.
Yeah,
We
we needed
needed
that.
that.
Yeah, I got it.
That
Go
was
women.
funny. That was funny.
That was
Fuck 'em.
funny. That was
That was
good.
funny.
Yeah.
This.
Sorry, I'm ranting.
I still hate this movie.
No.
I don't hate it
Do
till
you?
the day I die.
Even after us talking.
Yeah.
Really? Because I thought.
So we've really accomplished nothing.
I
We still have the
swore.
same exact opinions on the film.
I swore at one point in this
I
review
will
you were
say,
going to be like.
now that I
I
know
agree.
this series is dead,
Yeah.
I guess I don't hate it as much.
You're gonna
'cause
miss
I'm
it.
At least that's over. At least that nightmare's over.
You're going to miss it.
No.
You're going to be like, wow, I wish he would finish with 2 more Justice League animated movies.
No.
Would that be cool? Would you
Didn't he
watch?
just do an animated thing with Netflix that no one fucking watched? It was about like Greek gods or Norse gods.
Fuck yeah.
That's the thing. None of you guys are watching his stuff.
I'm not a
Anyone-
Snyder fan. I'm a DC fan. Fucking Quentin Tarantino can make a Batman film and I'll fucking watch it because it's Batman.
So we've accomplished
Fuck.
nothing. Are we still friends?
Debatable. We're gonna talk about it. Figure it out. I gotta talk to my therapist.
Okay. Frank,
Yes. Don't ask me this question because I don't know.
where can we find you?
You could follow me on Instagram, Frank_Volpe_. Check me out on IMDb and see the films and different things that I have coming out soon. To all those Snyder fans and DC fans that are out there, I'm with you. I'm all for it. I loved these films, but be hopeful for the future. Enjoy any type of DC content, and hopefully, maybe one day, Snyder will make 2 animated films of his Justice League movies that he didn't finish. Because why fucking not? Make him an animated, or give me a comic.
Yeah.
Do it in a comic. And I know that, the Dark Side War, what was it called? The last animated one in the Flashpoint Paradox DC animated universe one is kind of like where his Justice League was going. But, give me a comic or something. And that's it.
Okay.
I love this movie, Man of Steel. What's up?
Okay. Yes, like, share, subscribe. Hey, if you join Patreon, the $10 tier where you get exclusive streams, which I can stream again on Patreon, which is nice.
Congrats.
Now that they have built-in streaming, I can stream without having to worry about getting copyright claim by YouTube. So I did an edit stream recently. We do wallpapers well, it's supposed to be monthly. Sometimes I screw up. But we just put a batch of wallpapers from earlier this year up, and one of them is me and you as Superman and Zod.
What?
And then the other one is me and Manny as Superman and Gus from Superman 3. And the other one is me and Gil as Daredevil and Bullseye.
Cool.
He has me as Daredevil filling out the leather suit.
Filling it out. Nice. Good.
So check that out. Our artist, Nick Code, did those. Those are really fun. Also on Patreon, I put the public RSS feed there, so all the podcasts are there.
Cool.
And I'm going to go back and add the YouTube and Rumble links to each description. So join as a free member. It's got better notifications than YouTube because YouTube will just not tell you shit sometimes.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
Patreon has way better notifications. So even if you don't want to pay, just subscribe as a free member. I'll put the videos publicly from then on and the podcast. But also consider paying.
I love following you on Patreon.
Thank you.
I get all
Thank
the
you.
emails too, letting me know what's going on. Yeah.
Sorry if I tried to turn off the notification. I didn't realize it was.
I like the notifications.
No, I didn't realize that every time I messaged in the chat, it would send an individual notification.
Yeah.
And I asked them to turn that off, and they're like, "There's no way to turn it off. That seems like a good idea, though." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need them to know every time I reply in a chat."
Look into that. Great thinking.
I don't know. Use the Discord instead.
They should hire
All right. That is it from us. Follow me to make sure you can see where I'll be at the Mahoning Drive-In. For example, the weekend this comes out, me and you, unless something happens in between now and then, We'll be at the Batman Day at the Mahone Drive-In.
I'm
If
there.
you're watching this, it's probably too late. Unless you're local, then come out. You'll be there
And
Saturday.
it was nice seeing you. We had a good time. Boy, was that fun. All those pictures of the back of my head.
But yeah, check all that out. And yeah, that's it from us. Goodbye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.